You know I love Trump, but I think he stepped on his own you-know-what here. 6:05. Happy Halloween. Glad you're joining us on KCMO 95.7 FM. We are streaming on a Red Friday on the KCMO Talk Radio app. So yesterday was a great day for Republicans. I know we're a month into the shutdown, and you would think, how is that possible? Yesterday, you had airline CEOs like Scott Kirby from United, the Delta CEO, you had the Teamsters president, all say, with Republicans standing behind them at the White House, Democrats end the shutdown. Go along with the continuing resolution that keeps the government open at the same spending levels, and then debate all the health care stuff once the government's opened up again. People are hurting. They're not getting paychecks. That's what you've got to do. And it was a great day. That should be the topic today. Instead, I went to sleep. You might have went to sleep. And I wake up at 4 a.m. and I'm like, no! Kate's like, why are you yelling? It's 4 in the morning. Well, the president of the United States late last night called on a Truth Social post for the Republicans to go nuclear. No, not that kind of nuclear. He means the nuclear option. He says it is now time for Republicans to play their trump card and go for what is called the nuclear option. Get rid of the filibuster and get rid of it now, he writes here. What does that mean? What that means is he wants the Senate to go from a 60-vote threshold to pass this clean continuing resolution bill, just once again, the bill to keep the government or get the government at this point back open, and go down to a simple majority of 51 votes. Republicans right now they're at about 55 votes, 56 votes, depending on the day. They've got 53 members of the Senate. They need to get to 60 votes. They've got to get a few Democrats to cross the aisle, and they just can't do it. So I believe this is what the Democrats want. I think they want Republicans to go, as Trump called it, nuclear. They want him to blow up the filibuster. They want him to then go to 51 votes instead of 60. And the reason they want that is because it plays into their no king charade from a couple of weeks ago. They call this guy a king, but apparently he can't open the government on his own, right? I mean, we all know that. We're paying attention. You're paying attention. But for the masses who don't pay attention, this is going to be potentially a great way for them to be like, yes, there he is, the king. And they believe it will help them in the midterms coming up next year. They are trying to trap Trump into going nuclear, as he put it, and to dropping the filibuster. This is what they want. And instead of talking about how yesterday the airline CEOs, who are not political people, are calling for the Democrats to end the shutdown, what's the headline all over cable news and elsewhere this morning? Here is CNN. Trump calls for end of Senate filibuster to break funding stalemate. Trump urges GOP to scrap filibuster to end shutdown. I mean, they are blasting this thing all over the internet and all over their television stations this morning because this is what they want. Don't give them what they want. I understand the appeal of saying, you know what, screw it. We've got to do the job here. But then you've got a year of them saying, oh, look at what these guys did to the filibuster. They got rid of the filibuster. They're trying to act like kings. They want even more control of your life. This is the only off-ramp the Democrats have that actually give them a leg to stand on. And I wouldn't do it. I would not come near this thing if I was Trump or the Republicans. I get why he's frustrated. I mean, this is ridiculous. Republicans have voted for clean CRs when Democrats are in power, and Democrats have done it previously when Republicans have been in power. I get why he's pissed. But this is not the way forward, because this will be used against you, and then they might actually have a leg to stand on with the whole king thing. Now, what's going on back here locally? Sharice Davids, Kansas Congresswoman, District 3, has put out this video. She put it out yesterday, and now that we have people who are once again not getting paid, air traffic controllers and things like that, here's what your Kansas Congresswoman had to say about it.
This is a real pay stub that an air traffic controller in Kansas texted me. $0. These men and women keep our skies safe every single day. They guide thousands of flights, protect millions of passengers, and right now, they're doing it without pay. They're overworked, understaffed, and now they're being asked to do it for free, all because politicians in Washington can't be adults and come to the negotiating table. That's unacceptable. I'm fighting to reopen the government and make sure that every worker gets the paycheck that they've earned, because our safety and their livelihoods are on the line.
I'm so sick of this from Sharice Davids. I really am. I'm sick of it. And nobody else in Kansas City media. I get it. She's not going to come on the show. I think Mark asked her to come on the show. What was that, a couple of weeks back? You might have reached out to him and said, hey, could they come on the show?
Yep.
Okay. Usually I book the guests, but Mark's got the relationship there from when he used to work at another radio station, and they used to fluff Sharice Davids, so he's got the tie in there. But did you know that Sharice Davids voted against the continuing resolution to keep the government open last month?
You don't say.
Yeah.
What a crock, in my opinion.
I know.
Every Republican voted to open the government.
Yep.
Every Democrat voted to keep it closed.
Yes. A couple voted for it, Fetterman and like one other,
Yeah,
but yes, the majority obviously did not. And I've got to listen to these videos every day from Sharice Davids, which at least this video didn't have, 7, 8 jump cuts in 36 seconds. I literally think that her staff, because I put them on blast on social media the other day, when she had 8 jump cuts in a 58-second clip. That's where you see and notice clips on social media that are obviously spliced together. She had 8 jump cuts in 58 seconds. It went viral on my X page at Pete Mundo. And I don't think it's a coincidence that this 36-second clip I just played didn't have any jump cuts in it. I think they're like, whoa, he got us there. But neither here nor there, Sharice Davids did not open or did not vote to keep the government open last month when it passed the House. It passed the House because of Republicans. And now she's doing this, and she's been doing it for 2 weeks. And she's done some local media, and not a single local TV reporter has put the screws to her on this deal and say, you're doing this like ride the fence, the politicians have to come together, the people are getting hurt. You voted against the same thing that you're telling people to basically vote for. Sharice Davids did not vote to keep the government open. She voted against keeping the government open. And now she gets to put out these little videos on social media. Oh, the politicians need to come together, put the American people first. You literally did not do that 6 weeks ago. You didn't vote for this bill. So if Sharice Davids was in the Senate, would you vote for it or not? And if you wouldn't vote for it, then you know what? That tells us exactly what we need to know about where you're actually at on this piece of legislation. So this thing is, I believe, right now, if we're calling it like a sports event, I think we're in the second half, and Republicans are starting to pull away. They're starting to lead, win the game, however you want to phrase it. But don't make a dumb coaching decision here, okay? If you're Trump, don't make the dumb coaching decision on this thing. Don't do it. Don't call for the end of the filibuster. Don't try to go down that road. Don't try to pressure Republicans to lowering the vote threshold in the Senate from 60 to 51. Don't do it. You're winning. And I have the evidence that you are winning. Coming up on KCMO, we'll get to your calls as well. I mean, I want to hear from you early on a Friday morning at 913-408-7957. We can have the conversation with you. Do you end the filibuster like Trump called for last night, or do you say no? The pressure's building on him. Let's ride. 913-408-7957. Pete Mundo on a Friday morning on KCMO 95.7 FM.
From Gladstone to Gardner, you're listening to Mundo in the Morning on 95.7 FM, KCMO Talk Radio.
Well, a happy Halloween Friday to you. Thanks for being here. It's also a Red Friday on KCMO. It's also the end of the month of October, and the government is still shut down. And yesterday should have been all about an amazing win for the GOP. You had airline CEOs come out and call on Democrats to pass the continuing resolution, the clean continuing resolution, as it's called. Scott Kirby, United Airlines CEO, standing alongside all the Republican leadership, saying this.
Start by really thanking the professionals, the air traffic controllers, the folks at the TSA, also the FAA, the people in management. They're working hard. They are keeping the skies safe. They've minimized delays. Fewer than 2% of flights have been delayed so far because of air traffic control shortages. So they've done a great job. But it's putting stress on people. It's not fair to those people. It's also putting stress on the economy. You know, the first couple of weeks this had no impact on the economy, but as every day goes by, the impacts start to grow. And airlines are a pretty good real-time indicator of the economy, and we start to see still minor, but steep booking impact, and you see that happening in the economy. We put the whole economy at risk. And so it's been 30 days, and while I don't have a position on which partisan side and how things should be settled with healthcare, it has been 30 days. I also think it is time to pass a clean CR, use that as the opportunity to get into a room behind closed doors and negotiate hard on the real and substantive issues that the American people want our politicians on both sides of the aisle to solve. But let's get a clean CR and get that negotiation done behind closed doors without the pressure and without putting the American workers.
When he says we want a clean CR, that's United Airlines CEO Scott Kirby. He's saying pass what the Republicans are trying to pass. He doesn't want to say that because he doesn't want to seem hyper-partisan, and he even hedged himself there and was like, listen, I'm not a political guy. But when he says pass a clean continuing resolution, that means pass what the Republicans have been trying to pass for a month. That's what he's saying. He's in a somewhat non-political way saying pass what is on the table, Democrats. And that should be the story coming out of yesterday. But then late at night last night, I guess Trump, his body clock is still thrown off from that trip overseas to Asia. He's putting on Truth Social, blow it up, end the filibuster, go to 51 votes. Now, someone just asked on the text line, it's a good question. Pete, didn't Harry Reid end the filibuster? Harry Reid, the former Democrat majority leader in the Senate, did end the filibuster during the Obama years for judicial nominees, for judges. He did end it, but it was only for judges, not in situations like this. And then Republicans used that against him to get 3 people on the Supreme Court during Trump's first term. And McConnell said to Harry Reid all those years ago, be careful what you wish for ending this filibuster, and it came back to bite him. And that's why I'm not a fan of blowing it up right now on something like this, especially when we're talking about a continuing resolution that's only good for like another 3-4 weeks at this point. I mean, if you're gonna go big or go home, at least do it on something that is like really large. That if the Democrats use it against you going forward, you can say, at least I got X out of it. You're not even getting anything out of it if you end it here. Steven's in Johnson County. What's up, Steven?
Well, how's it going, Doc? I'm just with Sharice Davis. I think the people keep voting the same way they vote because they only hear one side of the story. And the advantage that a lot of people have is they have social media. And when people like me and you put that stuff out there, when you was talking about she voted to shut the government down, a lot of people probably don't know that. I was meeting with a group of ministers the other day, and I was telling them that. I said, you all vote against your own interests and wonder why you don't have anything. So I think that we have to take the time to put her up there, put the information out there on social media to make sure people know about it that don't listen to the radio. That's all I want to say.
Well, we do our best, and obviously you can follow me on Facebook. I'm on Instagram at Pete Mundo and X at Pete Mundo, and the KCMO Talk Radio pages, follow those as well. But, you only can reach so far. People can stay in their own little bubble when it comes to social media.
At least Steven's out there doing the work, too. It takes everybody. We all got to do it, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Social medias and whatever.
Absolutely, John. That's right. Oscar's in Gower. What's up, Oscar?
Yes. I think getting rid of the filibuster is one of the worst ideas President Trump has had, simply because, as you said earlier, the Supreme Court, the judicial filibuster was broken, and we got 3 Supreme Court justices through, which is good for our Republican side. They passed the ACA with no Republican support, and he did it on a trick of reconciliation.
Mm-hmm.
Think what will happen when they try to push things through with no Republican support and 51 Democrats in control of the Senate.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if and when they get control, and there will be a time in our lives, Oscar, I don't know how old you are, but I expect there to be a time in my life where it happens where they've got complete control and they will, go to 51 votes and they will do it for insane legislation. We're going to regret this if they go down this road this time. You're right.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Oscar. I appreciate you, man. Have a great weekend. I mean, that's where I'm at. And they may do it anyway, right? I mean, I hear that on the text line. I hear that on social media. Hey, Pete, when Democrats get control, they're going to get rid of the filibuster anyway. Maybe. Now, the good thing is the Senate map over the next couple of cycles cuts pretty favorably for the Republicans. But I'm not going to sit here and hand it to them on a silver platter.
I'm with you there. We'll say, if you think that they'll do it when they get a chance, think about Roe v. Wade. There have been a bunch of things that they like to rail against that they leave alone so they can use it as a leverage or a wedge.
That's a good point. They've used these things as basically driving out the base, to your point. You're right about that, John. Libby's in Waldo. You're on KCMO. Libby, good morning.
Oh, Pete. Okay, I was telling John, I have a colorful resolution or a solution to all this crap. Okay. Anybody who has gotten this job via our vote, they're not doing their job. And so I would say do as I have seen done in corporate banking. I've seen it in private sectors. I have seen it in the federal government labor and the state. Fire them. And just have 2 managers with their little pink bows and blue bows walk up to a table and say, you're fired. You have 15 minutes to pack up your things. We'll shut your computer down.
Who do you want to get fired? Who do you want to get fired?
The people who are not cooperating. And with the Democrats and the Republicans, by the way. I'm not suggesting just the Democrats. I'm talking about the people who are not doing their job.
So you mean vote them out of office?
And whoever would have won the election had those people not won, invite them in and say, hey, come on in and you're being hired because we need for you to go along and get this thing passed, get the government open.
Okay, so you're saying like air traffic controllers who aren't doing their jobs?
No. I'm talking about the Democrats in power.
Okay, well, no. You can't okay, so you're saying kick them out of office when they're up for re-election.
Kick them out of office even right now.
Well, you can't do. What do you mean? How's that work?
Okay, Pete, do whatever you do to them. Whatever gets done to us out here when we're working and we're not doing our jobs. You think that if you weren't doing your job right now,
I get it. I understand it, Libby, and I love you, but I'm struggling on how the way you fire a politician is by to kick them out of office. That's how you do it. I mean, I guess. You could go through a recall process like Frank White. I don't know what that looks like for a member of Congress, but I don't know what else to do. You got to hold them accountable.
I get it, but we got to do something, even if it looks like.
Well, no. Here's what I'm up against it, Libby. I'm up against it here, but got to keep pressuring them to do the right thing right now. That is what it's all about. News in 2 minutes. Coming up, is Kansas City a dangerous place to trick or treat? We have the data next.
from the nation's heartland. You're listening to Mundo in the Morning on 95.7 FM, KCMO Talk Radio.
Help me with this. One study says Kansas City will be one of the five most dangerous places to go trick-or-treating this year. The jokes write themselves sometimes, but let's get further into the data before we make any jokes about this. Action Network reviewed FBI crime reports, sex offender databases, and fatality analysis reporting systems. Kansas City got poor marks not just for violent crime, but for pedestrian safety. The KC Metro has the second highest number of deaths per 100,000 residents, only behind Columbus, Ohio. For the second straight year, the Prospect Business Association is encouraging families to forego traditional door-to-door trick-or-treating on Halloween and come to a trunk or treat. You know, what a shame. What a shame that the Prospect Business Association is telling kids to not go door-to-door and trick-or-treat. Listen, I understand that not every neighborhood is the safest. I get it. We get kids in our neighborhood who aren't in the neighborhood, and I'm totally fine with that. I think it's great. Our neighborhood goes nuts. I mean, there's a lot of people that come in, they park their cars. Mm-hmm. The houses, aren't that far apart, but people are pretty generous, so it's like a nice combination, right? Right. It's not like we're all sitting on acre lots, but people are also very good when it comes to giving out nice treats. So we've got this nice blend of a community and a neighborhood that is generous with its giving, and you can hit a lot of homes in a pretty short period of time. And it's pretty safe to walk around our neighborhood as well. So we get a lot of action from kids outside the neighborhood, which I think is great. But the fact that you've got the Prospect Business Association basically saying to families, hey, don't go door to door with your kids, what does that tell you? My goodness. I just feel bad for the kids, John.
Yeah, it's nothing new, I guess, but I didn't know if they were hosting something. Was that the point?
Well,
to come down there?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's, I can understand that sort of.
It says
we're
here,
lucky in Kansas City, I think, because I don't know that it's like this nationwide. I know a place where I'm going that's similar to yours, and there are neighborhoods where it's 1970s school, old school trick-or-treat,
So you're trick-or-treating tonight, John? Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
How about that? What are you going as?
I have this skeleton T-shirt, top hat and stuff, making a minimal effort, but I do have something to wear.
I thought you were going to wear your No Kings protest outfit with the fishnet cut-off tee, but no.
It's down at the cleaner right now.
Yeah, so last year, the Prospect Business Association had an event with 2,000 kids. This year, they've stockpiled enough candy with plans for 3,000. They bring in lighting. They work with KCPD to close off Linwood Boulevard between Prospect and Brooklyn. The event runs from 5:30 to 8 p.m. So, it's great that they're doing this. I still think it's sad that there are certain neighborhoods where kids just can't go door to door.
Well, even in my own neighborhood, I can stay there all night. I might have two kids,
Really?
I'm just hoping a 17-year-old with no costume comes up so he can take the rest of the candy, Yeah, no, it's kind of weird. There are pockets, I guess, in Grandview, so my street doesn't get hit that much, but there aren't that many kids that live on the 2 or 3 blocks around me. It's a little bit of an older neighborhood, I would say. So I think that's part of it.
Well, then I will give credit to the Prospect Business Association for doing this. If they can get 3,000 kids out in the urban core of Kansas City to trick-or-treat, I think that's great from a safety perspective. I still feel for the kids because one of my great memories, yesterday during the Ask Mundo Anything segment, I think it was Victor in Parkville said, what is your favorite memory before the age of 12? And I gave him 2 answers, going to sporting events with, my dad and brothers, and then going to the beach as a family as a kid. But there's 2 things I also could have put in there. Trick-or-treating on Halloween and shooting hoops all day. And Halloween is one of the great memories I have as a kid, especially up to the age of about 10, 11, 12. I just have great memories of this day. And what I realized yesterday when I was carving pumpkins with the girls, really one of the great parts about being a parent is just getting to do the things you enjoyed doing as a kid. That's like
Right.
it, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I like doing this as a kid. Great. Now I have a reason to do it because I didn't carve pumpkins in my 20s, okay?
Well, look, when you get over 50, you don't even need that. You don't need a grandkid or anything. You just get the second or third childhood.
You just start doing whatever you want. But at least at this age.
No, that's cool. It's like you say, you get to live vicariously again.
Yes,
Pass
exactly.
it on, the tradition.
It's one of the great things about having kids. You get to do what you enjoyed doing as a kid, and you have an excuse to do it, right? So, I'm glad that these kids have somewhere to go, but it was disheartening to read the story about how Kansas City is apparently one of the least safe cities in the country to go trick-or-treating, according to FBI data.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if Wallet Hub was busy again or not.
No, this was not Wallet Hub. This was, those Wallet Hub
anybody
polls.
can do a survey and come up with something, right? And you understand, we understand the crime rate in the metro area here, so that's sort of an overlying factor, right?
It was,
let alone the crappy sidewalks.
Yeah. This was just a combination of FBI crime reports, sex offender databases, fatality analysis reporting, and then also pedestrian safety.
Which we've had a rash of pedestrian accidents here recently.
We have. Now, speaking of polls, the Associated Press has this new poll out. They dropped yesterday. What are people doing on Halloween? About 2/3 of U.S. adults will celebrate Halloween in some way this year, with parents of kids under 18 especially likely to have plans, according to a new poll from the AP. Many parents celebrate Halloween with their kids. The percent who plan to do each of the following to celebrate Halloween. 55% of parents will take their kids trick-or-treating. 54% dress their children in costumes. 40% carve a pumpkin. 40% display Halloween decorations. 36% watch a scary movie. 35% wear a costume. 33% pass out candy to kids. Now, the number is obviously much lower in each of these for non-parents, which once again brings me back to my point of becoming a parent just gives you an excuse to, in many ways, be a big kid again, which is great. I think it's fantastic. It keeps you young. Because if you're not a parent, and I'm not knocking anyone who isn't, I'm just saying you don't get to do these things again and live vicariously through your kids in a good and a healthy way. Not in a negative way, not in an overbearing way, but in a healthy way. It can be a lot of fun. So, Mark, what are you going to be today when you take the kids out trick-or-treating? I have not asked you this yet all week. What's on the agenda?
Yeah, I'm just kind of the lame costume this year. I'm super Chiefs fan.
What?
So I'm just going to wear my big Chiefs coat, have a fun Chiefs hat on, and
what happened? Well, you're like the king of creativity around the holidays. What's going on with you?
I didn't have anything this year.
What
so
are
it's
the
just
kids?
Something I have. I didn't want to buy anything.
Well, I agree with you on there. What did the kids decide?
All right, Isley, she's about 2 now. She's going to be a dinosaur.
Okay, classic.
Riley, she's going to be, what was it? Glinda from Wicked.
Okay.
So princess, basically.
Nice.
And then Brielle's just kind of a grunge.
Well, she's getting older,
Yeah,
right?
she's kind of just a grunge person.
Yeah, she's getting a little older. So what is she, 12 now?
Yep.
Okay.
13.
13, yeah, okay. All right,
So
yeah.
she'll kind of help with Isley.
She'll help with the little one. I get it. She's getting to that age. That makes sense. All right. So that's
Classic. I worked with a woman whose kid wanted to be a vacuum cleaner. Her birthday, so he put a box on him and get out the attachments and just hooked him up, you know?
Oh, gee.
About that. That's an easy costume to put together.
Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, my goodness. All right. So John's the skeleton. Mark is the chief super fan. And then I'll be the cowboy walking around tonight. Not the naked cowboy from Times Square. I'm not doing that. Just a regular old cowboy, and the girls are all going to be cowgirls. So we got it all broken out tonight. It's going to be a good time. Coming up, it is the 6 at 6. Then we've got Kendall Gammon at 7 o'clock, preview Chiefs and Bills. And Mark Alford joins us next hour as well. Missouri Congressman to break down the shutdown latest and whether or not he is with the president on ending the filibuster. That's all coming up on a Halloween Friday on 95.7 FM KCMO.
On Friday's very spooky Guy Benson show, Steve Moore reviews the president's trip to Asia, and Josh Krausauer breaks down next week's major elections coming up at 2 o'clock on KCMO.
6:48 on a Halloween Friday morning on KCMO Talk Radio. Let's roll.
It's time for the 6 at 6 on KCMO Talk Radio. Number 1.
Top of the list, waking up this morning to the President of the United States calling for an end of the filibuster to get the government back opened up. He is calling on Republicans to lower the threshold from 60 votes in the U.S. Senate to 51 votes in the U.S. Senate to reopen the government without any Democrat support. And this morning we will be hearing from, I'm sure, many folks nationally, including Mark Alford here on KCMO coming up in a half hour to get his reaction to this late night Truth Social post from the President of the United States.
Number 2.
Next up, as we go to Clay County for this next story. The Clay County Sheriff's Office is warning of jury duty warrant scams that are happening. The Sheriff's Office has been flooded with calls from concerned residents. The agency reports receiving dozens of calls per day over the last month. Scammers are calling up residents in Clay County, claiming to be sheriff's deputies, and telling them they have warrants for missed jury duty. The callers are using fake court documents and the names of actual deputies to make their claims appear legitimate. So this is happening all over Clay County, and they're really good scammers. What one man told KCTV5 is that he was on the phone with local law enforcement while also talking to a scammer. And the whole thing seemed legit until they showed him a document with his signature on it, and he realized that that was not his handwriting, and that was not his signature. So Clay County is saying that the scammers are targeting people without criminal histories who don't know how warrants actually work. So people are scared. They think they're going to get picked up. And also, the scammers can find deputies' names on law enforcement websites and claim to be those officers, adding credibility to their scheme. So this is quite a deal happening up in Clay County. Some calls come with a spoofed caller ID showing the sheriff's office number. And they're targeting people of all ages, not just elderly residents. The scammers instruct victims to pay a bond through various methods, including Bitcoin, crypto, or gift cards. Some victims have been told to go to stores like Walmart to make payments. So listen, I know you're going to laugh at it, John.
That's the gift card one that always gets me.
The gift card one, you're right.
Bitcoin, I sort of understand. Seems high-tech new, but nope, not on gift card.
I know. I know elderly family members who have been scammed out of thousands of dollars through this method. So you get the right person in the wrong frame of mind, and you're like, hey, I'm Sheriff Bob from Clay County.
Yeah, I can make it legit sounding.
This sounds pretty legit up in Clay County. So just be careful if you're up there. Warn your family members if they're potentially someone who could be spooked into doing something like this, and let them know what's going on up there in Clay County.
Number 3.
Rolling through the 6 at 6 on KCMO Talk Radio. In Belton, an 18-year-old student is in custody after officials discovered a loaded gun in his backpack, thanks to another student's tip. Cameron Kopfer, 18, was arrested and charged with unlawful use of a weapon for bringing a loaded weapon onto school property. According to court documents, Kopfer attends the Scott Educational Center, which is a non-traditional education center that's part of the Belton schools. The Scott Educational Center offers night classes for credit recovery, according to court documents. Another student told the school resource officer that Kopfer showed him a black handgun in his backpack while in class earlier this week. The student said that Kopfer did not make any threats about harming anyone, but he did make comments about robbing people for drugs and money. And then on October 28th, earlier this week, Belton Police and the Belton High School principal waited at the educational center for the defendant to arrive at school, and before he entered the building, they searched his backpack and found the gun. Kopfer was arrested, taken to Cass County Jail. He's being held on a $10,000 cash-only bond. So Good job, students being aware, talking to that school resource officer. Sad, but it's good to have that strong relationship.
Number 4.
Next up in the 6 at 6 on KCMO Talk Radio, let's go here. A lawsuit filed this week accuses the USA Fencing Association of violating Title IX by allowing transgender athletes to compete in Kansas City. A spokesperson for the United States Fencing Association said the organization denies all allegations. The lawsuit claims that female fencers have been discriminated against, defrauded, and harmed by U.S. fencing. It says the association falsely advertised its events as women's sporting competitions while intentionally permitting biological men to compete in those women-only events. The lawsuit specifically references a competition that took place in Kansas City, Missouri from January 3rd to January 6th. The lawsuit says that because United States fencing receives federal funding, it must comply with President Trump's executive order keeping men out of women's sports, which mandates that all recipients of federal financial assistance must prohibit biological males from participating in women's athletic competitions. The lawsuit argues that USFA is required to only comply with the president's executive orders, and they have not done that. So we'll see how the lawsuit plays out, but that is tied to what happened right here in Kansas City.
Number 5.
Next up in our 6 at 6 World Series. Game 6 happening tonight. Blue Jays trying to become World Series winners for the first time in over 30 years. They have a 3-2 lead over the Dodgers. I'm all in on Toronto. Sick of the Dodgers spending $500 million in L.A., I don't want to see back-to-back World Series champs. We haven't had those, actually, since the 99-2000 Yankees, believe it or not. I know it's Canada. I know Trump's mad at Canada. I don't care. Give me the Blue Jays tonight in a Game 6 win to take the World Series.
Number 6.
And last but not least, just saw this yesterday. Royals play-by-play man Denny Matthews is going to get married on November 15th at Kauffman Stadium. First time he's been married, 83 years young. I'm not saying there's some Bill Belichick going on here. I'm not going to make that accusation, but I'll just say Denny Matthews is not marrying a peer. Okay? We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. I saw it on Royals Review yesterday that Denny Matthews is set to be married. God bless him for that. And I hope it's a long, happy, healthy marriage. And he might need Heartland Men's Health on wedding night. I'll just say that much. All right? Keep it rolling.
We can all
there.
use a little help now and again.
Hang in there, Denny. You're in for the ride of your life, buddy. There you go. Denny Matthews, 83 years old, getting married for the first time at the K, coming up on November 15th. Kendall Gammon will preview Red Friday, Chiefs-Bills, next. It is arguably the game of the year of the NFL season. It is coming up on Sunday, 3:25 kick in Buffalo. Chiefs and Bills here to preview the game. Kendall Gammon, our Chiefs insider, former player, brought to you by Xfinity. Sports are unpredictable. The price of your internet should not be. Introducing the 5-year price guarantee. One consistent internet price for 5 years, no annual contracts guaranteed. All right, Kendall, when you're getting up for a game of this magnitude, and obviously it's going to play a huge role in the standings in the AFC for the rest of the year, how do you balance the importance with also understanding the old cliche of it's only one game?
Well, I think that is the old cliche, and I would say that both coaches are saying the same thing, which is it is just one game. But you're right, and both teams, the Bills and the Chiefs, find themselves in different waters in terms of not being on top of the division like they normally are. Of course, Buffalo is looking at New England, and they're at 6-2. And of course, we're actually third, by a tiebreaker, but behind the Chargers and Denver. So it's really it's not a hard game to concentrate, I don't think, on because there's so much going on with it, and it's a tough one for the Chiefs because we talked about it last week. Was big win last week, but also we're on a short week and we're traveling. So it's a big one. There's no doubt.
All right. So what is the thing that you think the Chiefs should be most optimistic about going into this game in terms of something they can exploit against Buffalo?
You know what? Really, Buffalo's lost 2 of their last 3. I know they had a big win last week, but 2 before that. And after talking to some folks in Buffalo in the last couple of days, Josh Allen isn't throwing the ball like he has been in the past. I mean, he's still doing well, and obviously they've got a nice record. But there's something with the pass game that's a little bit off right now. They can't really put their finger on it. And, obviously he can run. It's a big guy at 6'5", 240 pounds. But that's the big thing is they just don't feel like the receiving core for Buffalo is what it used to be, and probably more importantly, what it needs to be. So that's something that they're a little bit intimidated by.
Okay, so that's an interesting potential angle of this game then. If the Chiefs can lock down, which is something they haven't traditionally done, at least slow down, maybe not lock down, Josh Allen and that offense, that opens things up on the other side. I mean, this is not going to be then maybe that typical Mahomes-Allen shootout as you see it right now.
No, I don't think it will. Now, that being said, it doesn't mean that that offense of Buffalo is stale and can't score, because when you look at James Cook and, just what he did last week, I think he averaged over 11 yards a carry and had 200 and something yards. He's phenomenal. I think he's the second leading rusher in the league and probably playing the best. So they do have some things going on. But right now, I think if you can make them one-dimensional, that always bodes well for things.
All right. Now, on the other side, this offense has been humming. Rashee Rice back, obviously, has changed this offense for the better. But no Pacheco this weekend. So what impact do you see that having on the game, if any?
It will have some impact because you don't have as much depth there, obviously. But I think you'll just see more of Rashard Smith. I think you're going to see the swing passes come into it. It's interesting. We talked a couple weeks ago where he had the most touches other than Patrick Mahomes from line of scrimmage. Then last week, for whatever reason, didn't really see the ball much, but he's going to have no choice but to be in there quite a bit more this week. And then, other than that, I think they'll be fine. I think the big part of it is the offensive line is playing well. They're still without their left tackle and Josh Simmons, but I forget where we're at with Trey, but in either fashion, the offensive line is playing well, and I think really everything stems from that, in my estimation.
All right. So then, what this game? I mean, what are you seeing in terms of how this thing's going to play out on Sunday afternoon in Buffalo?
Well, I think it has a lot to do with the defenses and how they play, and I think our defense is playing as well as anybody in the league right now. Obviously, 7 points in the last 2 games, so I think that's a big part of it. I do think it's a lot of people have been saying it's going to be a high-scoring game. I don't know if I see that, but I'm thinking like a 27-26, so I guess technically that is high-scoring. But I think this is a game that is close. I mean, I think the spread is only 1.5 somewhere. You may have it, but so it's essentially almost a pick 'em game. But I don't know. I just think the way the Chiefs are playing on all sides of the ball will be the difference.
All right. Well, yeah, it's a 2-point spread the last I checked here. Chiefs
Okay.
are favored by 2. So give me is 27-26 good guys the official prediction, or do you want to tweak it there, Kendall?
No, I'm staying with that. That's what I've gone with all week. I mean, I'm speaking out of both sides of my mouth because I don't know. It's kind of funny. I don't feel like 27 points is a high scoring game for the Chiefs, and I'm that's what I've gotten used to is high scoring for them is getting well over 30. But yeah, I think it's going to be a close game. That's what it's been the last several times, and probably another message is to both teams is, it's not about now, though. It's about getting into the playoffs and how they play then. I know that's what Buffalo's been preaching for the last several years, and obviously they can't get past the Chiefs in the playoffs.
Yeah. All right. So that's you're walking that tightrope, man. Chiefs
I know.
winning, and I guess Buffalo +2 is the pick.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. All right. So 3 games coming up: at Buffalo, at Denver, against the Colts. I mean, these are 3 of the best teams right now. Not division leaders, but 3 of the best teams in the AFC. How do you get through this 3-week stretch and call it a success? Is it 3-0? Is it 2-1? What do you think it is?
Well, I think success. 2-1 is success, certainly, but I think they expect 3-0, and I think they can. Looking at the season coming in, you wouldn't have expected to be asking this type of question because of the other 2 teams we just talked about. But Denver's obviously for real, and man, Indianapolis. I look forward to talking about them because that's just really been a Cinderella story. But I think they're in a position to win both of them, but they're going to be tough games. There's no doubt about it. But, you have to win this one, and then you really want to win this one because then you're going into a bye week, and you don't want to sit there for 2 weeks, just dealing with the loss.
That's a great point. That's a great point. All right, Kendall, good stuff. We'll talk to you on Monday, hopefully after a win.
Sounds good. Take care.
All right, Kendall Gammon on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM. You fellas got scores for me in there?
Oh, yeah.
All right, Mark. You go first. You're excited. Give me a rundown.
The Chiefs will win the game. I think they're going to cover. I think it's going to be – I just don't think the Bills' defense is very good this year. So I'm going to go Chiefs 34, Bills 24.
All right. John?
Tough one for me. That's kind of pick 'em. I'll go with my heart and say Chiefs win by 3, so let's go 37-34.
Ooh, high scoring.
Yeah, that's high scoring.
All right, there you go. I'm with you guys. I think it's going to be a more comfortable margin. I'll split the difference there. I'll say Chiefs by a touchdown, and I'll go Chiefs 31, Bills 24. So that would also cover the 2-point spread. I love Kendall's pick, though. Chiefs win, Bills cover on a 2-point spread.
Oh, that would be so nerve-wracking, and I'd hate it.
That's wild, man. That's wild, but that's great from Kendall. Coming up, Mark Alford is going to be here, and we are going to ask him whether or not he is on board with President Trump's late-night truth post that came down after I was asleep, probably after many of you were asleep, but Trump doesn't sleep. And he posted last night, end the filibuster, open up the government, 51 votes, forget about getting to 60, let's go. Mark Alford on that, coming up next on KCMO.
You're listening to Mundo in the Morning on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
Well, we're sitting here on a Halloween Friday morning, and last night, the President of the United States drops a bomb that he says he wants to see the Senate nuke the filibuster and go to a simple majority to reopen the government with 51 votes instead of the traditional 60. Mark Alford, Missouri Congressman, 4th Congressional District, also the host of Mark Alford's Capitol Recap, coming up tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. and then Sunday morning at 8:30. Joins us on KCMO. Mark, do you want to see your colleagues in the Senate go nuclear?
Pete, hey, thanks for having me on. I'm driving actually back from D.C., about to cross into Missouri, going to stop in my Columbia office and then on to Kansas City. But, hey, I don't think this is a good idea, and here's why. We've talked about this before. The nuclear option, some see it as a last resort. I don't see it as a resort at all, because what's going to happen if we get rid of the filibuster in the U.S. Senate? When we lose power in the Senate, and eventually that time will come, the Democrats have been so desperate to regain power and to keep that power that they are going to use a simple majority in the Senate to pack the Supreme Court, to do away with voter identification, and to make Puerto Rico and the District of Columbia states so that they can have power and long-lasting power, especially when we're seeing the Supreme Court, I think, about to make a decision this year about redistricting and removing race from gerrymandering. I think would be a mistake. Now, I know where the president's coming from. He has a big heart. He wants to end the misery, but Chuck Schumer caused the misery. He is the Kathy Bates of misery, and he is standing over that bed with a club, and he is willing to inflict more pain on the American people. They're willing to see planes fall out of the sky. They're willing to see people go hungry this weekend. He has poured gasoline on America, and he's waiting for someone to light the match, I think, over the SNAP benefits, which, by the way, we fully funded on September 19th. I want to make this very clear. The Republicans did our job. We funded SNAP. We funded the military. We funded the Women, Infants, and Children's Program. We funded the federal workers' pay at the IRS in Kansas City. We have done our job. The Democrats are so fearful of AOC and the Marxist leftist side of their party that they are willing to really sacrifice America to regain power and keep it.
So where does this go from here, Congressman Alford? I mean, is the president going to be, from what you're hearing, talking to Senate leadership today to see if this nuclear option is a realistic one? Or do you think, in talking to your colleagues, the votes are not there no matter what the president posts on Truth Social?
I don't really know. I think that's going to be up to the Majority Leader Thune. He has said before, and I think even said last night, that he does not believe this is a good idea. This is the bad part. We're in the 31st day of America held hostage to Schumer shutdown. I think we're close to them voting on the current funding levels, the clean CR. I think they have lost the battle when it comes to getting the facts out. It's not just, I hate the terminology, messaging. This isn't about messaging. This is about the truth. We are telling the truth. They are lying, obfuscating, gaslighting the American people, trying to instill fear and misery. And the media, the legacy mainstream media, they are seeing through this. You saw on the Sunday talk shows them going after the Democrats with truth and holding their feet to the fire. Hakeem Jeffries, aside from flapping his arms everywhere and flapping his mouth, he's resorted just to lies now. And so the American people are seeing through this. I think this could be over by Wednesday or Thursday of next week.
Well, that would be great.
That's what I think is going to happen. I'm not going to place any bets on it, but I think the pressure has mounted so much on the Democrats and the stupid things they have said. Catherine Clark, Senator Coons, admitting that this is all about leverage, that they're using misery of the American people to gain leverage.
I thought it was a powerful moment yesterday when you had, airline CEOs and Teamster presidents standing alongside Republicans saying, Democrats end this shutdown and pass the clean continuing resolution. But now it seems like the president kind of stepped on that messaging with his late night post. So where do you think this goes? Is it going to be pressure from the airlines and some of the unions that are going to basically allow the Democrats to cave, or is there something else that could happen here in the next couple of days?
Well, my hope is that by President Trump entering the fray here, and look, they were the ones, the Democrats, while he was making this remarkable trip to Asia and meeting with Xi Jinping, they were the ones saying, hey, the president, why is he leaving? He needs to come back and negotiate. Well, I'm here to tell you, I've told you before 100 times, there's nothing to negotiate. The president knows that. He is firmly on our side, that a clean continuing resolution is not out of the ordinary by any means, and it's not beyond reason to continue our current level of funding so that we can get our work done. I'm hoping that the Democrats are not going to see that as us giving in, because we are not giving in. The president is on our side. I'm eager to hear what Mike Johnson has to say. I know he's doing a round of media calls right now, and I have not talked with him. But me personally, I don't think this is a good idea. I love the president. I'm usually with him. I was not with him on the Argentina beef deal, so this is like 2 times in 1 week that I'm disagreeing with the president, but that's okay. He gets that. We all have our own ideas, and look, he's a lot smarter than I am. He knows how to put deals together, but I'm telling you, I just left D.C., and I think we're so close to the Democrats voting on this continuing resolution and passing it so we can get back to work.
There you go. Mark Alford on his way back to Missouri. Listen to the Capitol Recap coming up tomorrow afternoon at 1, Sunday morning at 8:30. Mark, safe travels back to the Kansas City area, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you, Pete.
There you go. Mark Alford on KCMO Talk Radio. 913-408-7957. Are you with Mark, who also happens to be with me, on the idea of not nuking the filibuster to reopen the government? Or do you say, you know what, screw it, let's go. Trump's got the power. Let's roll, baby. 913-408-7957. We'll get to you and what else is happening on this front with all the latest coming up right after the news. It's a Halloween Friday. The freaks came out last night. I didn't even know it was coming. I went to sleep last night. I'm like, whoo, great day for the president. You got the airline CEOs out there at the White House telling the Democrats to reopen the government, vote for the clean CR. And then the freaks came out on social media, and the president tweeted out or posted on Truth, let's just open up the government, nuke the filibuster, 51 votes, forget trying to get to 60, forget the Democrats. And I was like, no, don't do it. You stepped on your own you-know-what here. Don't, no. It's okay. It happens. But they're close. I really believe that Republicans are very close to winning this thing. When the Teamsters president, Sean O'Brien, is out there saying to Dems, vote for this thing, it's trending in the right direction. Here was Sean O'Brien at the White House, the Teamsters Union president, yesterday.
Took a position. I represent 1.3 million working men and women in this country for the International Brotherhood of Teamsters. We took a position 3 weeks ago. Pass a clean CR, get to the table, negotiate a deal. Do not put working people in the middle of a problem they should not be in there. And we got to think about the families that are going to be affected. Think about when you have to tell your son or daughter they can't play sports because you're not getting paid. Think about when you can't pay your mortgage. Think about when you can't pay your tuition. Put the politics aside, get to the table, negotiate a deal, pass a clean CR right now, and then figure out the problems moving forward. And I want to thank the air traffic controllers. I want to thank the aviation administration for all their hard work and sacrifice they make. And look, security and safety of the airlines is paramount. Let's not compromise the safety and security. Pass a clean CR. Thank you.
All right, that was Teamsters president Sean O'Brien. Also pressuring Democrats to just vote for what's on the table, a clean, continuing resolution to reopen the government. On the text line, 913-408-7957. Pete, I don't think Trump is serious about the filibuster. He just might be giving the mainstream media another shiny object. Yeah, but why would you give the media a shiny object when you literally had a great day yesterday with airline CEOs coming out and saying, Dems, end the shutdown, vote to reopen the government? Why would you give them a shiny object? Because now the headline at CNN.com, Trump calls on GOP to abolish filibuster to end the shutdown. NBC News, Trump calls for Senate Republicans to scrap the filibuster rule and end the shutdown. They're getting to talk about this now instead of what actually happened yesterday at the White House, which was apolitical people. I mean, the United Airlines CEO is like, I don't care about the politics, but I know what needs to happen right now, and that is reopen the government, get this thing to 60 votes, and debate all your health care stuff once the government's opened back up. 913-408-7957. Let's go to Jonathan. He's in Kansas City first up. Jonathan, good morning.
Hey, Pete. I agree with you. I think long-term this would be very bad for Republicans, very bad for the country, very bad for people, very bad for the Senate. The Senate, George Washington said it was the deliberative body, the tea that, or the cup that cools the tea. And I think the Senate should stay that way, and we've bastardized the Senate. They used to be elected by state legislators. We took that away, and I think it made the Senate worse. And I just think the Senate should always be better than the House, and it shouldn't degrade like the House has. And it could if we get rid of the filibuster, because then we'll have single-payer health care, pack the Supreme Court, new states for D.C. and Puerto Rico. I mean, the list is endless. And just think, as bad as Biden was, he wasn't able to do more only because of the filibuster. Think about how much worse the spending and the inflation and the authoritarianism and the nonsense would have been if he had been able to get even more done, which could be on the table if they nuke it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate it. Mike Thompson, when he was filling in for Keatsman last week, brought up the 17th Amendment, which, of course, makes it so the U.S. Senate is now elected by members of course, the people. 17th Amendment is now, of course, allowing people to elect the U.S. Senate. So I get that. I understand we want our votes, but it used to be the state legislature would do it. That's what was always, unfortunately, how it used to be. Kerry and Tonganoxie, go ahead.
Good morning. I would think that moreover what's going on is it's a typical Trump ploy that if he does this or threatens to do this, then the Democrats are going to look at this and go, oh, no, they're going to win because they're going to look good for saving the country. And maybe we should go ahead and step up and say, oh, we did it. We did it.
Interesting theory there, Kerry. That's certainly possible where suddenly they are fearful that Trump may look like the good guy here. But that's always been possible, right? So why would they suddenly be scared of it right now?
Well, because they're going to look bad, I believe. And that's the big fighting point on their end is that they have said it was the Republican issue, and then all of a sudden the Republicans are going to cure it. Well, hey, you won't do it. We're going to do it. And I just think that's what he's doing. And we'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, Kerry. Thank you, my man. I think it's more powerful in terms of twisting Democrats' arms here to have apolitical business leaders coming out and saying, you know what? I'm sick of it. And that's what happened yesterday. I think that's more powerful than some Trump tweet, because if it becomes about Trump, then everyone loses their minds. Like, no one in D.C. is level-headed when it comes to responding to Trump. They might be when it comes to business leaders. And that's what was happening yesterday with union honchos and airline executives saying, Dems, stop. Reopen the government. Okay, your charade is over. You had your little No Kings rally. People are getting hurt here. And that, to me, is more powerful than anything involving what Trump could threaten to do or not do. Jeff in Kansas City, you're next up. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, good morning. I think it's time that we eliminate the filibuster, go nuclear. And I know the argument of, well, when the Dems get in power, they're going to use the same thing. But at the same time, that's what's going to push more thought into who we elect, because we no longer have this leverage. And, every time this happens, it's always the fear game. What if and what if? If that wasn't there, I think in 4 years, if we don't like what we have, we go out and we vote our conscience and vote the people in and undo whatever those people do. The government, was designed to be ineffective at the absence of a majority, and that's the whole point of it.
Yeah, but you're kind of talking yourself out of your own argument here, and let me explain what I mean. The government was built to be ineffective and move slowly. You're right about that. I mean, that was the point of it, and that was the premise. If you now nuke the filibuster and you just need 51 votes to do anything in the U.S. Senate, and Democrats get power, and Puerto Rico's a state, and then, D.C.'s a state, and then it flips the other way, and suddenly Republicans do what? They take away statehood for D.C., they take away statehood for Puerto Rico, and then you got a total mess on your hands where you think things change quickly now via executive order and reconciliation. Just wait until it's 51 supermajorities in the Senate, and this country's swinging all over the place, man.
But that's when people realize, that's my point, when people realize that's how the machine works, then their vote isn't just swayed by sound bites and, what feels good. I think it's a more mature aspect and then of holding each other hostage every 4 years. It's a better negotiation platform. When there's consequences that are there.
Yeah, but I see what you're saying. But both sides of the aisle already use that. I mean, every time people are voting now, it's the most important election of our lives. We're all going to die. I mean, they both use that already, even though it really isn't true. So I don't see a scenario where suddenly we go nuclear, 51 votes in the Senate can really get anything done if you have the House and the White House as well, and then suddenly the average voter wakes up to what's going on. I don't have a lot of confidence in that being the case. 913-408-7957. Where am I going next, John? Paul in Kansas City. What's up, Paul?
Hey, Pete, a couple of points. I think what Trump's post, what he was trying to tell the American people was, hey, look, I'm going to let these kids down here handle it. But if I get involved as a dad, I'm going to bring hell down on them. I'm going to ground both of them. I think that's what he's saying. He's saying, look, you better fix it because if I get involved, I'm going to ground both of you. second point is I think with the CEOs is good, but I think I'm watching CNN, watching Tapper and this lady this morning take these Democrats to the woodshed saying, hey, wait a minute, just open the thing. And Adam Smith, the Democrat in Washington, he's bumbling and stumbling. And then the last point I'll make, Pete, is the 66-page document that Schumer dropped saying these are the demands we want. We want money for Iraq, Sesame Street. We want NPR and all these other things. We want to roll back the big, beautiful bill, no taxes on social. That's what they want. And nobody's talking about that 66-page document. That's not going to happen. Not going to happen.
No. And, you can't have these people holding the whole country hostage because they lost an election and now aren't getting what they want. Stephen Overbrook, go ahead, Steve.
Hey, I'll be quick, man. Okay, so if they can do away with the filibuster, make it just a 51 vote majority, why don't we just do away with the filibuster and the Republicans and conservatives, and they push their entire agenda through, and then right before it's time for maybe the other party to take power, just reinstate the filibuster. Because it'll only take a simple majority to do it.
Yeah.
I just fixed the whole damn government.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, but then Democrats get power, and they'll blow up the filibuster, and then around and around we go. That's actually pretty brilliant from Steve. You want to talk about 3D chess? That's Stephen Overbrook right there, my man. That's outstanding.
I thought it wouldn't work. But then he brings up the point it would only be 51 votes to do. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Bingo.
All right, Scott and Olathe, go ahead, man.
Pete, what's up, brother? Hey, man, I'm kind of older now, a little grumpy, tired. I can't remember nothing, so help me out here. Last time we instated this nuclear option, wasn't Harry Reid still in charge of the House? I'm sorry.
Yes, the Senate. Yes, Harry Reid. Yes. Harry Reid, rest in peace, the former Senate Majority Leader from Nevada, nuked the filibuster for judicial nominees during Obama's time in the White House. Mitch McConnell said to Harry Reid, don't do this, you're going to regret it. Harry Reid did regret it when Trump was in office the first time around, and because of the precedent set by Democrats, Republicans got 3 members of the Supreme Court on without the 60-vote threshold, but that was only for judicial nominees. It had nothing to do with, of course, legislation. So that's where it was different. It was exclusive and unfortunately still is exclusive because and for judicial nominees because of the precedent set by Harry Reid and the Democrats during the Obama years. Last up, got a minute, Victor in Parkville. What's up, my man?
Good morning, Pete. Always a great topic. The thing is, you people, the founders are smarter than anybody else around today. So there's this thing called separation of powers we touched on yesterday, and also they wanted to make it difficult for the government to move slowly to encumbrance the citizenry. That's why they made it hard for legislation to pass. Now, we used to have an educated electorate. Now we've got a bunch of idiots out there voting, especially people 18 to 25. Now, I think Trump is doing this to prove he is not a king because I think the Senate and Thune are going to stand up and say, no, we're not going to do it. So I think he's kind of planned it. He's trolling the Democrats. That's my opinion.
Okay. Well, I would disagree, too, on the idea that 18 to 25 is the dumbest voter block. That might have been the case 20 years ago, but listen, 65 plus is getting pretty stupid, too.
Seemingly, I'll have to say.
Look at the No Kings protests, okay? I mean, 18 to 25 is swinging pretty hard to the right, Victor. Don't knock the young folks right now. You got to talk to your contemporaries. I look at the No Kings protest. This morning I was driving in, and I'm on 435. And, it's pitch black out, so I can't see the driver. But I'm behind a car in the right lane on 435 about to get off here to the station. And they had a bumper sticker that said the hippies were right about everything. And I'm like, it's too early for me to get this pissed.
I'm getting pissed now.
But I couldn't help but be like, right about what? Right, literally, what were the hippies right about? Anything? Anything, John. I mean, I couldn't think of, I
could write a book, Pete.
I sat there the rest of the drive to work thinking about what they might have been right on. And I couldn't figure out anything that they were right on.
I'm hard-pressed at the moment. Okay. I'll work on it.
Please, during the commercial break, work on it. And maybe someone can text in or tell me what the hippies were right on, because I couldn't figure it out. They're the same ones who are, most filled with TDS right now, too. Look at the protests. Coming up, if you are a subscriber to a certain TV network, you might be out of luck ahead of a big weekend. I'll explain next.
From Overland Park to Parkville, you're listening to Mundo in the Morning on 95.7 FM, KCMO Talk Radio.
If you have a YouTube TV, you will notice this morning that you do not have any Disney channels. That means ESPN platforms and ABC. Disney has suspended its content on YouTube TV, pulling ESPN channels and ABC after the companies failed to reach a new contractual agreement. So last night, YouTube TV said in a statement, despite our best efforts, we have not been able to reach a fair deal, and starting today, Disney programming will not be available on YouTube TV. Now, on the other side, you've got ESPN using its personalities in the middle of football season to say, hey, make sure you go to our website and tell YouTube TV that you want ESPN. Here is Stephen A. Smith.
If you're a YouTube TV customer, you may lose access to NFL and NBA games on ESPN and ABC. Visit keepmynetworks.com for more information.
I am on the side of YouTube TV here. Because here's what's going on. ESPN wants people to buy its streaming subscription, which is like $30 a month. For Disney Plus, all the ESPN channels, ESPN Plus, that is what they want you to go get. It's $30 a month. That's a lot of money. There's not a subscription service out there that I know of that's asking for $30 a month. And if they can't get you to sign up for their subscription service, they will basically hold these networks hostage like YouTube TV and say, fine, then you give us an extra $10 a month per user to make up for the fact that people are not coming to our original platforms. That's what's going on behind the scenes here. And that's why when the whole streaming thing started off 5-10 years ago, everyone was like, this is great. I'm not going to have a cable bundle anymore. Suddenly the cable bundle's not looking so bad, is it?
Well, no, you got to do it yourself now, see?
I know, and you're going to end up paying more money.
Yeah. Well, I am a little choosier with mine, right? I don't have anything.
Well,
yeah, how about that?
You also don't have any social media.
Right. Who needs it? I got along without it. I write notes.
That's fair.
Call a phone, drive a clutch. I can get places.
So this is really about ESPN trying to get people to sign up for their big Disney Plus, ESPN Plus platform. That's what this is really about.
I hope it's FAFO because I don't know if people value the content. Certainly not at $30 a month.
That's crazy. It's crazy.
You get fewer and fewer games, and they're on Plus and it'd be great if they were on ESPN. But, games are everywhere else.
Well, this would give you access to everything.
You would get them, but you're hunting them down, right?
That's
why
true.
they say that's why it's $30.
Yeah, exactly. Mark?
Yeah, I think they're also trying to get you over to Hulu TV because Hulu is connected with Disney and ESPN.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is Hulu part of that umbrella?
Yeah.
It was.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Well, I got YouTube TV when I first got to Kansas City 8 years ago.
I remember you being a fan of it.
It was $40. It's doubled. It's not a deal anymore.
Mm-mm.
And it's not necessarily their fault because they're getting ESPN saying, hey, you got to pay us more every time they come up for renegotiation. And that ends up screwing the consumer here because ESPN is getting its clock cleaned financially. They are in a very bad spot because they spend too much money on all these live sports. They got to figure out how to make the money back. It can't just be through advertising dollars. And that's what ends up being a loss for everybody here. So I'm team YouTube TV, but you might not get some of the college football this weekend if they don't come to a conclusion sooner rather than later. Coming up next on KCMO Talk Radio. It's Halloween. Let's have some fun with this on a Friday. Decorations are scarier than ever. Are people blaming Trump for that? Next. I want to get you in the mix here. 913-408-7957. Happy Halloween Friday morning on KCMO Talk Radio in Kansas City. So I wanted to find agreement here with the New York Times, and I still do. They just put something in this piece that just drove me nuts because, of course, it's the New York Times. Headline, have Halloween decorations become too scary? The skeletons are taller. The witches seem more lifelike, and the blood and gore is more plentiful. Right out of the gates, my answer to that question is yes. Yes, and I see it in parts of my neighborhood. I see it around town. I mean, it seems like more and more people have this 10-foot-tall skeleton that just resides on their front lawn, and I guess that's supposed to look cool. I don't know. It's not my thing. But I agree with the New York Times premise that because of technology and people being into this stuff, the Halloween decorations have become gorier than they've ever been.
Some great videos on YouTube of the Spirit Store where they have those pop-up witches and skeletons that go up about 10 feet freaking people out. So I enjoy them.
But then
Everybody
I see
loves it
this.
when it's not them, right?
Yeah, exactly. Then I see this at the end of the piece here from the New York Times where they're going through stories mostly in New York City about how, you know, there's just more money being spent on scary, gory decorations. They had stories of people going out of their way to avoid some of these scenes in New York City, and people are walking their kids on different blocks because they don't want the kids seeing some of this gory Halloween decoration stuff that's out there. I get it. I would do that too if that was me and my kids. But then the end of the piece, you get this. This year, Julia, Arenson, 58 years old, a yoga instructor who lives in Brooklyn, has noticed many houses in her neighborhood displaying Skelly, the 12-foot-tall skeleton that we just talked about from Home Depot. She says here it's like an overabundance of large skeletons standing there lording over brownstones. And I'm like, all right, Julia, okay. All right, Julia, yoga instructor, I'm cool with that. I'm with you there. I'm sympathetic to your cause. But then she drops this banger. Quote, there's a lot of instability in the world right now and in our country. And I really feel like it's being reflected in all of the decor. All of these stark skeletal remains. Maybe those types of decorations were always there, she added, but she hadn't noticed them as much as before. And there you have it.
How about that?
That's where they end the article in the New York Times. They didn't say Trump. But you know where they were going with that piece, John. We all do, man.
Yeah, and the person had to cut the interview short because Vampirina, the new Disney teenage vampire show, was coming on, right? I've got to go. My favorite new show. That was the whole notion that Trump and the whole scary thing of what's going on in our culture is ridiculous.
There is a lot of instability in the world and in our country, and I feel like that's being reflected in all of the decor and all of these stark skeletal remains. Tell me you have TDS without telling me you have TDS. You're noticing the Halloween decor more frequently, and it's becoming scarier because of the guy in the White House. Wow. Okay. They just couldn't help themselves. There had to be something there that tied it all back to the big orange man. And there it was. The 58-year-old yoga instructor in Brooklyn put a bow on this bad boy in the New York Times. And they almost had me. They almost had me right there with them. But they couldn't help themselves.
I was going to blame Jeff Bezos.
Oh, why him?
You can buy anything on Amazon now.
Well,
decorations and whatnot.
That's true. But they're saying that 12-foot-tall skeleton, his name is Skelly, I guess, he comes from Home Depot. So are we going to blame Home Depot? I don't know.
Iron Maiden fans will know Eddie, their big skeleton mascot, so that'd be, I'll just tell them it's an Iron Maiden decoration. No, it's my music taste, not Halloween.
Did you see Trump, by the way, at the White House yesterday, handed out the Halloween candy? So they had the families there rolling through the South Lawn with Trump and Melania handing out their candy, as they've done, in prior years when they were in the White House the first time around. And do you remember the viral moment where the kid shows up in 2019 in the Minions costume and Trump puts a candy bar on his head? Do you remember that? It was a viral video from, once again, this is going back 6 years now, where this kid shows up to Trump. Trump's standing there handing out candy, and Trump takes a candy bar. The kid is in a big Minions, which if you're a parent or a grandparent, you may know Minions. He's in a blow-up Minions outfit. So, like, he can't really move his arms. His head is in the Minions outfit. He can't, like, touch the top of his head because of the big blow-up thing he's got on.
I got a picture here, yeah.
And Trump just takes the candy bar and puts it on the kid's Minion's head. And the kid's, like, trying to reach for the candy bar, and he can't reach the candy bar.
Yeah, T-Rex arms,
Yeah.
right?
Looks like a true Minion.
Yeah, it's like a true Minion. And then the kid starts walking away, but the head is not level. So the candy bar just like slides off his head, and the kid keeps walking. It's the funniest. I mean, Trump had a lot of funny moments, from tossing toilet paper at the Puerto Ricans to putting candy bars on Minions' heads. This was right up there with the best of them. It was hysterical. So what does he do yesterday? He recreates the moment. There's some kid who shows up with, once again, a similar kind of outfit. It wasn't Minions. It was something else. I don't know what he was going for there. But he shows up in an outfit and a costume where he's got some thing on his head where it's not obvious that he can touch his own head. And Trump just puts the candy bar right on the kid's head. I will repost it on X right now at Pete Mundo so you can see it there. But it's hysterical. I mean, the guy he knows exactly what to do to create a viral moment. Whether he's trying to or not, it is so funny. And then the other thing that happened yesterday is they were doing this trick-or-treat of the South Lawn of the White House. Some lady shows up, a mom shows up. She's got, looks like two little kids, maybe like 3 and 1. And she pushes them up to Donald and Melania. And they were a McDonald's drive-thru. An ode to, of course, the campaign trail, when Trump worked the McDonald's drive-thru to troll Kamala Harris, who, of course, said she worked at a McDonald's when there was never any evidence to suggest that she worked at a McDonald's.
Many, many French fries.
So that was hilarious. So she's got the kids in like this push stroller, and it's not really, the kids aren't dressed up, but they've got the McDonald's sign coming out of the kids' push. It's not a stroller. It's like one of those wagons. They've got the McDonald's drive-through logo with like a big order here sign that is showing up, and Trump's just getting such a kick out of it. I'll repost that one as well, because that was
great.
gold.
The little golden arches thing too.
Yeah. I mean, it's creative.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know that people that are invited to the South Lawn to trick-or-treat are going to be supporters, obviously. We know that. But still, that is just great creativity coming out of some of these folks who were trick-or-treating yesterday. And Trump was just loving every second of it. I don't know when the guy sleeps. I mean, he just gets back from Asia. His body clock is thrown off by 12 hours. And now he's showing up, handing out candy yesterday at the White House with Melania. And he looked good. He looked happy. He was cheerful. And then at night, he's talking about blowing up the filibuster, nuking the filibuster. So go figure. I mean, he just doesn't stop, man. It's wild. But I hope you have a great Halloween today. I know Mark's going to be a Chiefs super fan. Lame. Woo. Lame. You couldn't have been a dinosaur with your youngest who's going as a dinosaur?
She doesn't like the older dinosaurs. We've encountered a few of those at trunk or treats, and she gets nervous around the bigger dinosaurs.
But she wants to be a dinosaur herself.
Yes, and she roars at me, but yeah.
Okay, but she didn't want you to be a dinosaur.
Exactly.
Okay, wow, that's tough sledding there, Mark.
I know.
Tough sledding. John's going as a No Kings protester, so he's going to be out and about in his fishnet tee and,
Haven't had SNAP benefits. You'll be able to see the bones on my skeletal T-shirt there I posted.
That's great. Oh, my goodness. I'll be out as a cowboy with the cowgirls. 3 girls all going as cowgirls today, so we'll be out and about. Trick-or-treating. Have a great Friday. Coming up on KCMO Talk Radio. You think a new stadium for the Chiefs is going to be for the average fan? Well, think again. And I have an example of what is happening in another NFL city that's getting a new stadium and what the pricing looks like there. We'll share it with you next on KCMO.
Hey, it's Kevin Keatsman. Stick around. I'm coming up at 10 o'clock right after Pete Mundo on KCMO 95.7 FM.
Kevin's coming up at 10. We'll wrap up the show with him at 9:50. We got Tony Botello of Tony's Kansas City in studio for our Feature Friday guest. Does an awesome job covering the real news across Kansas City. So I shared this yesterday after I saw a Cleveland Browns fan go viral. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, boy, you think a new stadium in Kansas for the Chiefs, or the Royals for that matter, but let's stick to the Chiefs for now with the NFL. You think a new stadium in Kansas for the Chiefs is going to be about the regular fan? Think again. Not a shot. So this fan went viral, as he said here, with the Cleveland Browns getting set to have a new stadium. His 6 season tickets will go from about $24,000 a year to $131,000 in year one. That's an increase of $106,000. Now, this is mostly driven by a PSL, a personal seat license. Think about it like joining a country club. You have to put down money, a bond, just a one-time payment to basically have the right to join the club, and then you pay your annual or monthly dues. That's basically what a personal seat license is. And NFL teams around the country have done this. I remember when the Jets and the Giants opened up their new stadium, MetLife, about almost 20 years ago now. That was a big controversy there, and it's been going on ever since. It's basically like a one-time payment, country club-style system that's just a cash grab. That's what it is. Now, I'm a capitalist. Free market can reign. But let's be honest. It's not about the average fan when you enter into a PSL. It's a quick, easy cash grab to try to fleece fans. And as much as teams have a right to do it, and you have a right to pay it or not, if you think that the Chiefs are going to open up a brand new stadium in Kansas and not strongly consider something like this, you are kidding yourself. Cleveland is a similar size market, and the Browns have blown for 30 years. What do you think the Chiefs might do? And let's be honest, the Chiefs, even if they don't want to do it, will be pressured to do it because other teams have done it. It's kind of a bad look if you're maybe one of the few fan bases or few teams that does not have this PSL when it's going on all around the country in new stadiums. So while I also will admit a renovated Arrowhead may also come with increased prices, I believe, and from what I'm hearing, if a stadium were to move to Kansas, it would probably be 15,000 fewer seats than the current 78,000 and change that exist at Arrowhead. So if that's true, what happens to supply and demand? 15,000 fewer seats means what? Theoretically, assuming demand remains the same, pricing goes up. That's just without any PSLs. That's without the team increasing prices, just naturally. The prices will go up if you get 15,000 fewer seats in the stadium, which is what I'm hearing the Chiefs would do if they consider the Kansas side or move to the Kansas side of the state line. And already, let's be honest, it's not cheap to go to a game. You're paying almost $60 for parking. Tickets are expensive. They've gone up the last couple of years for season ticket holders. All that stuff is true. But it will only go up further if you go to the Kansas side. And it's not going to be about the average fan. Instead, what it's going to be is about the business side, the suite side. It's going to be about getting more corporate engagement, less regular fan engagement. And this has happened to professional sports over the last generation. But it will be noticeably expedited in a move to the Kansas side. So let's take a step back then and look at what this would actually be. A star bond with extra tax revenue paying off the stadium that then will be able to charge the regular fan more money or basically take the regular fan out of the stadium completely. For what? For what? The product's the same. What, to maybe say you have a Super Bowl one time in city history? To maybe sit there and have one Final Four every 20 years? To maybe get a concert that you otherwise would not get? For what? What does it do for the average fan? Not the owners, not the politicians, the average fan. And there's no answer to that, John, because there is no benefit for the average fan.
Yeah, I was trying to call. My dad had club-level seats some years back. He's passed. But when they were doing the remodel, I thought they had done a PSL, but I think what they did was they told him you had to renew for 3 years, not just year to year, 3 or 5 years. And he was like, I'm not doing either. The price was going to be the same. It was just going to be dispersed over 3 years, so it would be that much more per 3 or spread out a little more over 5. And so that's not a PSL per se, but they have already kind of stuck it to club level people already.
That's interesting. So, yeah, and that was going back, 20 years now. 06 is when they did that.
Way back,
yeah.
Yeah, they were talking about going to enclose the club level, and so they were filling you with all the great ideas that were going to happen, which have come to pass. But
Well, see, and I don't even hate that because it's kind of like, hey.
It's part of the remodel.
Yes.
You get it.
I understand that.
Yeah.
And if that was only for that club level, which, like you said, was getting enclosed at the time and there were perks and benefits to being there, okay, I mean, I can see that. You're just getting 3 years worth of tickets. You got to lock them in.
Well, they went up substantially,
yes,
for sure.
And they went up a lot, too. But that doesn't bother me nearly as much as this PSL model.
Yeah.
Which is a one-time, easy cash grab. That's what it is.
I go to like a bookstore, right? Are you a member? No, I'm not paying you money so that I can get discounts and come in and have to earn back my money. That's kind of what it's like in some of these retail clubs.
Well, and credit cards do the same thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of part of the model now. But the difference is here, there's no discount on the tickets after you spend money on the PSL.
No.
You're just getting the right to spend the money on the tickets.
Yeah.
That's all it is. So this is, to me, just another example of what's happening in Cleveland that ties into Kansas City to say, if any of this you think is about the regular fan, and there's still a lot of regular folks who do have season tickets around Arrowhead Stadium. There are plenty of them that have had them for years or decades that exist all over that stadium. You see them all the time. You go out to a game. There will be thousands of people priced out. And while the politicians will go out there and tell you how great of a deal this is, and we got the Chiefs to Kansas, you know what? The average Kansas voter is not going to be able to reap any of those benefits or go to a game anyway. So what are you really bragging about? Who are you really bragging on behalf of? The politicians, in many ways, will show how out of touch they are on both sides of the political aisle if the team does make the move. They'll act like they're in touch with the common man and woman when they're actually showing you how out of touch they are with the common man and woman. Don't fall for it. Coming up on KCMO Talk Radio, we have heard from leadership in the House, at least, on the president's big announcement late last night that he wants to nuke the filibuster. We'll tell you what the Speaker of the House had to say on that and also get some local reaction from one of your favorite members of Congress. I said that very much tongue-in-cheek. She can't help herself, coming up next.
From Smithville to Shawnee Mission, you're listening to Mundo in the Morning on 95.7 FM, KCMO Talk Radio.
Well, last night, the President of the United States announced on his Truth Social that he wants to see Republicans nuke the filibuster and reopen the government with a simple majority, 51 votes instead of the 60, which, of course, they have not been able to get to. I think it's a bad idea. I would not play that game with the Dems because they are licking their chops at the idea of getting power back one day, loading up the Supreme Court, creating more states, creating more senators. I wouldn't do it.
This is like a Mark Twain novel where you get somebody to paint the fence for you because you tell them it's so much fun. You should be doing it, right? You're going to get them to do it for you.
Yeah.
That's even sillier.
That's what's going to happen here. Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, goes on Fox News this morning and says he has the president's back. Here was Mike Johnson.
Post last night about the filibuster. We just want this to end. They do not deny that the Democrats themselves, that they are prolonging this pain. They admit to it. They said they're using it as leverage. The big question everybody needs to ask this morning is why. They're trying to appeal to the radical left Marxist rise in their party. That is sum total what this entire thing is about. It is infuriating to us.
I think it's also Trump derangement syndrome. They don't want to give y'all anything. How much weight do these 4 airlines have on their decisions, on the Democrats' decisions? I'm sure they have lobbyists that are talking to them saying, y'all need to just sign this clean CR.
Yeah, it's the airlines. It's also the unions. The largest federal employee union, as y'all have reported, came out a couple days ago and said, please pass the clean CR. They represent 820,000 federal employees. That's supposed to be a constituency, the unions that the Democrats claim as their own. Look, you have more unions coming out. You had the head of the Teamsters out there.
So that was Mike Johnson on Fox and Friends. I actually disagree with something that Ansley Earhart said there. I assume that was her when she said the Democrats don't want to give you anything. Republicans aren't asking for anything. It's not like they jammed a bunch of pork into this continuing resolution and then said, pass this bill. They're not asking for anything. They're just trying to keep the government open at its current spending levels, and that's it. It's not like they jammed a bunch of their own priorities into this as part of this continuing resolution bill and then said, oh, yeah, we're going to throw this other stuff in there, too. Then the Democrats would have a right to be pissed. They would have a right to be bothered. That's not what happened here. So Ansley's wrong when she frames it that way. Oh, they just don't want to give you anything. They're not asking for anything, Ansley. There's nothing that they're asking for here, with all due respect. So stop making it about like Republicans want something. They just want to literally keep the government open and then debate all the other stuff that Democrats want to debate in the weeks to come. That's it. And both sides of the aisle have done that when they've been out of power. That's not what's going on here. But Mike Johnson, I understand he's in a tough spot here. And his tough spot is that he's got to figure out a way to obviously appease the president. He doesn't want to come out this morning and basically, as the leader in the House, be like, yeah, that was a dumb Truth Social post. But it was last night, because that's not the answer. You've got him against the ropes. I really think that after yesterday's press conference in the White House, which included the United Airlines CEO, you had the Teamsters president, you had the Delta CEO put out a statement, all basically saying to the Democrats, open up the darn government. You've got him up against the ropes. You've got him where I think you want him. And then Trump in the background, Leroy! Like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. No. John, go ahead. You're on KCMO.
Hey, good morning. Every time the Democrats have changed the rules, it seems to have backfired on them. And if we go and change the rules in the Senate to get rid of the filibuster, it's going to backfire on us big time. And they're just waiting for us to do it, to push the nuclear options so they can say, well, you did it, and then shove it back down our throats. And
Bingo.
Then our republic is truly lost.
Bingo.
And the fact is, yesterday I was calling all of our senators and as many people as I could, trying to push that idea of restoring the Food Stamps Act, and then saying pay the military, restore the food stamps for 6 months, and pay the military, pay the civil workers, and then on the end of it, to give it teeth, say Obamacare, at pre-COVID levels. We're going back to that and put teeth in it and make the headlines that restoring the Food Stamps Act. And then they say, well, with the health care. Well, people that are hungry won't care about other people's health care, but they will care about their own food. And they can also pivot and say, well, we want to pay the military and other people that need their pay because the holidays are coming. We got to have a heart, and the Democrats have no heart. And that we could be sitting there slam dunk.
I got it, John. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. I'm trying to follow along here. But your first point was the best point. Your first point that if the Republicans nuke the filibuster on the back end, Democrats will go out there and use it against them is absolutely true. And they will be able to point the finger and say, hey, these guys did it. And my goodness, if you're actually going to ever nuke the filibuster one day, do it for something that actually gets you a lot, not just a clean continuing resolution. I mean, if there's ever a time to nuke the filibuster, and I'm not a fan of it, but you do it for something big and massive, not literally just reopening the government at its current spending levels. And I don't want anyone to do it, but if you do it, you do it big. You don't do it over something like this. Then there's Sharice Davids back here in Kansas, 3rd Congressional District. I'm really getting tired of the dog and pony show that Sharice Davids is putting on here locally. And I know she's not going to come on this show, but my goodness, she has done some local TV in the last few weeks, and she knows that the local TV stations are safe places for her. She's going around posting all these social media videos about the politicians have to make sure that they come together and it's time to reopen the government. You know, Sharice Davids didn't vote for the continuing resolution. She literally voted against opening up the government when she voted on this back in mid-September. And now she's got the audacity, because no one else locally is going to say this, to post videos like this every day saying, people need to come together and vote to reopen the government.
This is a real pay stub that an air traffic controller in Kansas texted me. $0. These men and women keep our skies safe every single day. They guide thousands of flights, protect millions of passengers, and right now, they're doing it without pay. They're overworked, understaffed, and now they're being asked to do it for free, all because politicians in Washington can't be adults and come to the negotiating table. That's unacceptable. I'm fighting to reopen the government and make sure that every worker gets the paycheck that they've earned, because our safety and their livelihoods are on the line.
Ma'am?
That's Rep. Davids to you.
Sorry. Thank you for the correction.
This is a Wendy's.
Yeah. That's where she should be working, frankly. If you had your way, this bill that opens up the government would not have passed the House. It's at least passed the House. It just hasn't passed the Senate. Because in the House, it just needs a simple majority. Sharice Davids voted against the bill to reopen the government. Now, it passed the House because the Republicans didn't need her vote. But this whole dog and pony show, which is all it is from Sharice Davids, every day on social media putting out a new video, trying to ride the fence. Politicians got to put, the people first. You voted against the bill. I know I can't get her on. But next time she's doing fluff local TV news, is someone else going to point this out to her?
Maybe the most shocking thing in that was there was no jump cuts.
Well, that's true. I think they got the message after I called out her account for having 8 jump cuts, which is when you see a video and it like splices it together. She had 8 jump cuts in a 58-second clip. I mean, that's embarrassing. That's like Biden-esque is what that is.
Come on, man.
She at least did this 36-second clip without any jump cuts. I think her team got the message. Because that thing that I posted the other day went viral when she had 8 jump cuts in a 58-second clip. My goodness. I'm not looking for a pat on the back here, but we're doing 4 hours a day, and there are 0 jump cuts in the show. None. Not a single jump cut. It's all live. It's not always perfect, but there's not a single jump cut in 4 hours of this talk show. Sharice had 8 in 58 seconds. That's embarrassing. And it's just as embarrassing that local Kansas City media is not willing to point this out to her, or at least to their readers and viewers, that every time they show one of these videos from her social media page the last month or so, as she insists that she wants the government back open, she voted against the continuing resolution that is on the table right now to reopen the government. She voted against it. It's crazy she's getting away with this, but it also, maybe it isn't all that crazy. Maybe it's not surprising based on the coverage that you get in this town. And that's why we keep kicking butt.
She continually likes to portray herself as above it or separate from it, and yet what is she, a 97% voter with the liberal side or the Dems?
I don't know what the
Something
number
like
is.
that. Yeah, it's pretty high.
It's high, though.
She seldom goes against it.
It seems like it.
And this could have been one where she could have voted with the Republicans, looked good because they weren't going to win anyway.
Yeah.
She didn't take it that advantage.
She could have. She didn't do it. Buy, sell, hold. 3 questions as we roll till the 9 o'clock hour. Tony Botello of Tony's Kansas City is coming up in studio here on KCMO.
On Friday's very spooky Guy Benson show, Steve Moore reviews the president's trip to Asia, and Josh Krassauer breaks down next week's major elections coming up at 2 o'clock on KCMO.
8:50 on a Halloween Friday. Glad you're here on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM. Let's do it.
It's time to buy, sell,
how about a damn 12 and a half, 15,
and hold.
All right, John, what's on the rundown, my man?
How about this one? Buy, sell, or hold. The Republicans should play their Trump card, air quotes, close quotes, in the government shutdown.
Sell. Yeah, I mean, I love the president.
Any faster?
No. I guess I could try to do my Billy Long if I really wanted to here, but I don't want to. I don't know if I want to do that. Yeah, where is it?
How about a damn 12 and a half, 15, 7 and a half, $20, 2 and a half, 5, 7 and a half. I yield back.
No, I'm selling this one real fast, though, as we've been talking about all morning. I know the president's upset. I know he's frustrated. I get why he's frustrated. He can't get to 60 votes in the Senate to reopen the government. He's not looking for anything. He's looking for the spending levels to be the same place they're at right now. That's it. That's all he wants. But I actually think that he's backing the Democrats slowly or quickly, I guess you could say, into a corner right now. SNAP benefits, food stamps set to expire. You've got airline CEOs and the Teamsters president saying, hey, you know what? Reopen the government. I mean, I haven't played it yet, but the clip is very powerful from the United Airlines CEO, Scott Kirby.
I start by really thanking the professionals, the air traffic controllers, the folks at the TSA, also the FAA, the people in management. They're working hard. They are keeping the skies safe. They've minimized delays. Fewer than 2% of flights have been delayed so far because of air traffic control shortages. So they've done a great job. But it's putting stress on people. It's not fair to those people. It's also putting stress on the economy. You know, the first couple of weeks this had no impact on the economy, but as every day goes by, the impacts start to grow. And airlines are a pretty good real-time indicator of the economy, and we start to see still minor, but steep booking impact, and you see that happening in the economy. We put the whole economy at risk. And so it's been 30 days, and while I don't have a position on which partisan side and how things should be settled with healthcare, it has been 30 days. I also think it is time to pass a clean CR, use that as the opportunity to get into a room behind closed doors and negotiate hard on the real and substantive issues that the American people want our politicians on both sides of the aisle to solve. But let's get a clean CR and get that negotiation done behind closed doors without the pressure and without putting the American workers in.
When Scott Kirby, the United Airlines CEO, says pass a clean continuing resolution, what he's saying is, in an apolitical way, Democrats, vote yes on this bill that's on the table right now that you voted no on 13 times and reopen the government. He's not saying it that clearly because he doesn't want to come off as political, but that's what he's saying because that's what's on the table right now, a clean, as it's dubbed, continuing resolution. And they can't get themselves to do it, John. What's next?
All right, then. Buy, sell, or hold. Chipotle's stock tanks due to the inconsistency of their servers.
You know what? If you haven't seen this, Chipotle stock got crushed this week. Down 20% this week. It's down 45% year to date, down 42% over the last year. And I'm buying this, first off. I'm buying it. Some people are suggesting that Chipotle stock is in the toilet because young people who like Chipotle are out of money. They're tapped out, life is too expensive, and they're not going and they're getting their burrito bowls anymore. I'm not convinced that's what's going on here. I saw this study that was done by a Wells Fargo analyst. He bought 75 identical Chipotle bowls in different parts of New York City, and he compared the weight. And he found that the food chain has major consistency issues with their portion size. Sometimes the bowls were up to 25, 26 ounces. Sometimes they were as low as 14 to 16 ounces. And I don't eat a lot of Chipotle because of that very reason. I don't know what I'm getting half the time. It's like I spent $12 on this thing, and literally sometimes it can be twice as big as it otherwise would be. So I'm pretty much done with Chipotle as much as I like it. They are so inconsistent on their servings. I'm not going there anymore, John. So I don't think it's about people being tapped out of money. I think they're done with Chipotle's inconsistencies.
See what you're saying. With the filet of fish, you only have to worry about if they center that piece of cheese on the bun or if it's a little cockeyed.
This is a strong case for your McDonald's order every day, John. All right? It's a very strong case for your McDonald's.
I'm not worth your McDonald's money.
Chipotle might be worth my McDonald's money. I'm just saying.
Halloween used to be a Chipotle holiday in my house because you could go to Chipotle dressed as a burrito and get a free burrito back when I was in college.
Mm-hmm.
And then they changed it to $3. Now it's $6.
Really?
So it's just
now you have to dress up as a burrito and still pay them for the food?
Yes.
I mean, at that point, you're basically saving yourself $2 by dressing up as a burrito.
Yeah, I know.
Not
worth it.
What a stupid offer that is. And that was cool at a free burrito if you dress up as one, but now you got to dress up as you got to look like an idiot and pay them money?
Yeah.
I'm
out.
What kind of deal is that?
That's the story of my life.
All right, what's last?
All right, buy, sell, or hold. Mark's Chiefs Bills parlay for the Sunday game.
All right,
Sunday
Mark.
afternoon, isn't it?
325. Jim Nance, Tony Romo. Mark, what's the parlay for the week?
All right, I went a little bit different in this one. It's $10 to win $180 here today.
Whoa!
First one, this is kind of interesting. Patrick Mahomes needs to have 5 rushing attempts or more. So that could be either a scramble, a designed run, even a kneel down counts as a rushing attempt. So 5 rushing attempts or more.
Okay.
2 passing touchdowns for Patrick Mahomes. 250 passing yards or more for Patrick Mahomes. Here's a couple fun ones. Travis Kelce, 5 yards receiving or more in the first quarter. It's been money all season. I'm going with it for the first time in my parlay. Rashee Rice, 5 yards receiving or more in the first quarter. He's been money on that his first 2 games back. This one might hurt me. Marquise Hollywood Brown, 15 yards receiving. He didn't get 1 catch last game. He just needs to bounce back for 15 yards this week.
In the whole game? For the whole game. 15 for the game.
Yeah, 15 for the whole game.
Okay.
Travis Kelce, 25 yards for the whole game. Xavier Worthy, 40 yards receiving. And Rashee Rice, 50 yards receiving.
I'm buying it, Mark.
Yeah,
I'm buying it. I see a big offensive performance. Mahomes is going to feed the boys. He's going to spread the wealth. And you're going to hit this sucker, man.
I think so.
I like it.
I've been off by 1 leg the last 2 weeks. I think it hits this week.
There you go. 10 to win $180. Mark will post that on social media as well on the KCMO Talk Radio pages. Nice job. Coming up, Tony Botello, Tony's Kansas City in studio next. It is a feature Friday in Kansas City. Who is scarier on a Halloween than Tony Botello? He scares all the local Kansas City media folks with how he's going to put them on blast. He's joining us in studio. What's up, my man?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing well. I'm doing well. You know that's true, and I know that's true. Nobody wants to get in your crosshairs in this town, right?
It's always weird because I meet people face to face, and my dad always complains that, like, on radio, I'm too soft spoken. so it's like Halloween. It's a lot of it's an act.
Well, I don't know about that, but yeah, you come. Listen, if you want to come on radio and start really putting people on blast, we'll do this more frequently. All right, whatever you want to do, man. We are glad that you are here and joining us on the show. Listen, I know that your bread and butter is Kansas City and on the Missouri side, but I appreciate you writing about our interview with Overland Park Mayor Kurt Skoog and his inability to answer a simple question as to whether or not he wants the Royals to come to Overland Park, which I think should be a fairly simple question for the current mayor, who's also running for re-election, to answer ahead of next Tuesday, and he couldn't do it. Why do you think that is?
Probably the most likely answer, the truth is because he's negotiating, and they're all just, oh God, how do I, that's why I'm so soft-spoken, because I don't want to make a really bad graphic analogy, but they are all, they're all on bended knee.
Yes,
for the
that's
Royals.
Fine. That's fine.
Yeah, and so maybe both knees bend, but they're and so he's in the midst of a deal, and he obviously doesn't want to give it away. And what's frustrating for me as a Kansas City resident, and that's why your interview was great, because you really put him on the spot, and it was fantastic. But I mean, the Royals seem to be planning to win this thing by fatigue. And they are just rope-a-doping the whole Kansas City metro, and just how worn down can we be? How can we just Joe Frazier, just a mountain, just the best boxer, best skill, and you give that guy 15 rounds, and he's just gasping for air, and then they start punching, and that's what I see happening here. Yeah, it was great to hear his kind of fatigue set in, to hear him be flummoxed and flustered. So I guess that's my takeaway from this. And they're doing the same thing in NKC. I'm sure you can get Jason Worthington to sweat for you as well, because nobody has an answer, because they are all on bended knee trying to kiss the ring and get something their way.
But they could just kiss the ring and say, yeah, we want him here, and we think it will be good for Overland Park for the Royals to consider coming here. I don't think that's a hard thing to say if that's what you believe. And to me, that suggests that the mayor knows it may not be popular to have the Royals in Overland Park, which is why he won't answer the question 8 days out from an election.
Well, when you really drill down, and that's why you're great to call these people out on, when you really, and what I thought was great was when you really drill down on a location. When you start talking Turkey and okay, let's talk about the intersection. No. We have to keep things wide open. So when you drill down to the absolute details, NKC has its problems too. It's winning over fans, and it's getting some of the fanboys. I noticed this week some of the fanboy blogs are like, yeah, NKC wouldn't be so bad. But when you start saying, okay, where?
Yeah.
Where? Next to the like they couldn't, keep a Denny's. That's what one of my great commenters said, that, they couldn't keep a Denny's open. Where exactly do you think they're going to put it? And when you start drilling down to the details, that's when they get iffy. They start to stutter, and they start to think that Pete Mundo is a big bad wolf.
Couldn't keep the Denny's open where?
In NKC. It was there for like 30 years.
Oh, wait, in KC or North KC?
North KC.
Oh, I didn't realize they had a Denny's up there for 30 years.
Well, they don't anymore.
Well, when you got Chapels and so many other great local places, why go to a Denny's? I'm just saying. Just going to throw that out there. But, they got that. We know where they're going in North KC. It's the old bowling alley, that big location. They could build whatever they want around it. So I think North Kansas City's in the lead. And I think something else happened this week on this front. Laura Kelly said she's not going to get into a bidding war with Missouri. Laura Kelly started the bidding war.
Right.
And now she's backtracking off of that. That would suggest to me that she thinks that Kansas is behind the 8 ball with these two teams, and she's signaling, hey, if they don't come here, it's because Missouri basically bent over too much for the teams, and we're not going to do that. No. She started the whole thing with the Republicans, with the Star Bond legislation. They brought it to a bidding war. So she's trying to rewrite history on that, and I have no respect for that angle from the Kansas governor. And once again, it was a bipartisan deal in Kansas, but that's totally rewriting history, is it not?
Yeah, I think so. And I guess the only thing that I have to add that maybe your listeners might not think is, let's not count out Phil Lavoda. He managed to get Republican support for his unlikely bid in a field of clowns. So much so that the one serious person, Deron McGee, was like, "No, I'm not having anything to do with this."
Well, Deron McGee wants to be the future Jackson County chairman, and they agreed that whoever's going to be the interim can't run next year. So I think that's what McGee came to the conclusion of, right?
Yeah, and I know that officially we're supposed to say that. I don't believe that. There's nothing written in stone. I mean,
You think Lavota's going to run?
he's a lawyer. He can get out of any contract. That's why you hire Phil Lavota. And he's
He
very,
said on the show, he's like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I mean, listen, you're right. He might still do it, but I mean, he'll be a total fraud then.
that Gen X pessimism is just coming in for me. I hear George Bush promising no new taxes in the back of my head. All the old references. Clinton coming up with a new term. I didn't have relations with that woman because that's supposed to mean stuff. So all the echoes of the past are just ringing through my head. I'm just saying, in the stadium deal, Phil Lavota is a very, very smart person, and he has pulled many a rabbit out of his hat in his time.
So you like Lavota when it comes to keeping the Chiefs at Arrowhead, and you think he'll play a big role in that?
Yes, for sure, for absolute certain. He's pretty much all. I mean, I try not to believe too much hype. I still have my skepticism, but I think you can't underestimate the new dynamic that Phil Lavota brings to all these discussions.
Okay. Just because he's a lawyer, or is there something else you think he brings to the table?
Well, I mean, you're talking about a person with 30-some-odd years of Kansas City political connections. My favorite phrase, he is the person, he's one of those people with a Rolodex as big as God's. And he can bring a lot of people to the table. He knows everybody. He has a lot of skills. And he is a very persuasive man.
Yeah. All right. Well, what do you think that means? I know most of the action next Tuesday in the local elections on the Kansas side. But in Jackson County, they will vote on whether or not Jackson County decides to go ahead with an elected assessor. So instead of the assessor being appointed by the county executive, which is what Gail McCann-Beatty has been for the last several years, she was appointed by Frank White, the assessor will be an elected position. How do you think that plays in Jackson County?
I think pretty, I mean, I'm not sure there's been any official polling numbers except for the old Frank White numbers where just everybody, and I think this is where some of Lavota's skill comes in. Everybody who I talked to on the recall, and I talked to a lot of them, they wanted the pitchforks and the knives to come out and just a full house cleaning. And they were upset that Gail wasn't gone the next day. Mm-hmm. And that assessment department wasn't completely cleaned out. And I think where I've seen Exec Lavota's skill come in just right away is that he managed to calm people down. Say, okay, let's wait for the vote. Let's see how this plays out. I'm not going to pull the trigger immediately. Mm-hmm. And we're talking about people who pulled off something historic, getting them who wanted to raid the castle and wanted to J6 it. Just holding their horses and trying to see how this thing plays out.
Did you just use J6 as a verb there in that explanation with the Jackson County Assessor's Office?
It's meant as a compliment.
Boy, you on Lavota's payroll, man? You're. I mean, I don't have an opinion either way yet. I want to see what he does, but you're really high on the guy.
No, I'm just impressed because I was calling everybody clowns. I was saying they're all just full of it, and
I guess he'll look good next to freaking Justice Horny or something like that. But I mean, that ain't hard to do, man.
Well, I just think there was some modicum of bipartisan support. Our homie Sean Smith was like, all right.
Yeah. Well, think about it. He's dealing with Manny Abarca. Anyone looks good. You walk in the door next to Manny Abarca, you're gonna look halfway decent. Jeez.
This is true. This is
it's
true.
A clown car.
I'm not good enough to be on the Lavota payroll. I just think that we're going to see some curveballs thrown our way.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm on board with that, and I'm optimistic too. But you're really optimistic. I like that. Tony Botello, Tony's Kansas City, is here on a Friday morning. Our feature Friday guest. We'll take a quick break. Come back with more of the top stories impacting Kansas City, World Cup drama, funding drama, and more with him next.
From Lenexa to Lee Summit, you're listening to Mundo in the Morning on 95.7 FM, KCMO Talk Radio.
We got Tony Botello. He is, of course, the founder, creator of Tony'sKansasCity.com, joining us in studio as our feature Friday guest. Well, Tony, let's go to the World Cup here and talk about the fact that the KCATA says it needs $8 to $10 million to run the buses for the World Cup next summer. The mayor came on the show yesterday and said, I know nothing about that. I don't know where these money requests are coming from. It's ridiculous. It's playing out in media. How do you see this thing shaping out?
Nightmare scenario is, probably what's going to happen. Giving everybody from the benefit of the doubt, we're going to get like Ghana and Estonia, and it's not. We'll be able to handle it. But should the worst happen, should the absolute worst happen, and we got Ireland and Mexico, we're cooked. That's it. Yeah, Ireland, Mexico. Oh yeah, we got Ireland, Mexico, and Great Britain. Nah, forget it. Hang it up. Just buy some supplies and just plan on not going out for a week. And so, yeah, I know because FIFA and everything about the World Cup is rigged, so we might dodge a bullet intentionally because they're not going to send Great Britain to Kansas City. They're not going to send Ireland. Mexico is not going to come. Even though Mexico, you're talking about everybody driving up with a camper, and it will be a nightmare. But about the $8 to $11 million funding not identified. The week before that, one of my very, very, very great, very wonderful tipsters was like, "Hey, guess what? No international flights to Kansas City."
What do you mean, next summer during the World Cup?
Yeah.
Nothing direct international?
Nothing direct. Nothing right from Europe. They're going through St. Louis. They're not coming. It's not a direct flight, which is a big deal. When you talk about logistics a year out, you want to have those flights confirmed.
Well, is it possible, just to play devil's advocate, that when the groupings get announced, some airline will do direct because they'll make a lot of money doing that?
I would imagine so. Maybe it's not that complicated decision, but so we have this hideous lounge on the plaza that's opened. To me, I see the drawings, I see, they're having such a great time. I'll never go there. But some pre-logistics, where's this $8 to $11 million going to come from, or where the flight's going to come from? That's something that normal people see, that are people who, better than me, who have businesses and they're in charge of just buying Doritos for the whole game, know okay, this is a serious thing. The drawings of a hangout that is like a eighth circle of hell doesn't really prepare people for what might happen.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I want it to be a great win for Kansas City. I'm just not sold on it when the KCATA is already trying to shake down the taxpayer for another $10 million. And the notion that all these people are going to come into Kansas City, wealthy people, let's be honest, from other countries, and then go hop on a KCATA bus?
Right.
To explore the metro?
That's about all we got for them. Do you think there's a prop bet?
Well, no, there's a thing called Uber.
Right.
They're going to make Uber driver's going to make a fortune next summer.
Yeah, I could see that. Do you think there's a prop bet to where the streetcar breaks down? It's broken down 2 summers in a row. I'm willing to take. Am I spoiling the action by talking about it?
Listen, the streetcar. Did you see? I talked about it earlier this week. I think it was Woke 41 sent out a reporter to ride the new streetcar extension on Saturday, and they literally had to walk the line because it was shut down because a car hit a pedestrian or something along the streetcar line. So the streetcar extension, which had been open a day at that point, couldn't operate.
No, was that the same car that crashed in the flower shop across from Starbucks? Because that was opening day.
Yeah, this was Saturday, so that must have been Friday.
Right. Okay.
Wow. But to your point, what a joke. Did you ride the streetcar extension yet? Was that on the blog? I didn't see it.
No. I haven't yet because I'm waiting until a week sets in and everybody forgets about it like they did the first line.
I don't think it took a week, man. I think it took a weekend, if that.
Well, it's just like the first line. It was so great. It was the second coming. And there's a restaurant right on the corner of Main and I think 11th Street. Premium property, great stop, right in the middle of downtown. It's been vacant for the past 2 years. They just put somebody in it. Like a lot of these places, I guess that's my big takeaway, is okay, so the laundromat on Main is gonna be bustling. And the Starbucks I hang out at, but there's a great Jamaican sub shop.
Yeah.
Is that? Are you telling me the Jamaican sub shop is just gonna kick in that pay back that $350 million through all the goat sandwiches.
Yeah. Well, I used to live at 6th and Broadway, and I've told the story before, but coming out of the Big 12 tournament one year, I went to the streetcar stop, wasn't there, a lot of people. I start walking. As I get to the stop on, I guess it's 7th and Main, 8th and Main, the streetcar pulls up right as I'm walking to that bus stop or to that train stop. And I'm like, I literally walked it in the same time that I could have ridden the streetcar. And who knows if I even would have gotten on the streetcar because there were so many people waiting for the streetcar. So I was literally better off walking. That's not mass transit when you're better off walking.
Right. So you think Uber and Lyft are going to clean up?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got people paying thousands of dollars to make this their big summer trip. Wealthy people from Europe or South America. You think they're hopping on a KCATA bus?
That's a very good point. There's a guy that goes up and down my neighborhood at night in a neon bike. What do you call it? What's the politically incorrect term? To where they carry the. No, I'm not going to use that. But to where they pull the little thing, like the cart. It's like a fancy cab, but there's a hipster instead of a horse.
Oh, I don't know what they call those.
So anyways, he has a little neon thing. I always think about the lowest end. So yeah, Uber and Lyft, but you have to have a car. Just hipsters and bikes might profit as well.
They might.
It's like a bike taxi cab.
A bike taxi cab. Okay. That's what the guys are telling me. I see what you're saying. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't hop on one of those. I'd hop in an Uber. I mean, Tony, you're spending thousands of dollars on flights and hotels. You really think they're going on a bike with a hipster?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of fun.
Or in a bus? Yeah, they're not here for that. Come on. They're not here for that. They're getting in Ubers. We all know the game.
Yeah.
And the city and the KCATA have to come to that very obvious conclusion quickly that outside of special events, like if they say, hey, you want to go out to Arrowhead for the game, you got to park in this location, then they'll bus you in from there. That's going to a game. But you're talking about exploring the metro, no one's getting on a bus. No one.
I'm just thinking about that turnoff. I mean, even all my experience with Arrowhead is the Chiefs games, and so again, a vacant Denny's comes into play because across the highway.
Well, the text line is killing you, by the way, because that Denny's that you're talking about was the one on Broadway, right? That shut down in downtown. It wasn't the one in North Kansas City.
No, I thought it was Armour. No. They're thinking.
Okay.
They're not. I know my stuff about Denny's.
Okay, all right. Sorry, I didn't want to insult the Denny's expert here. Okay, so you're sure because the text line is saying you're talking about a different Denny's.
No, it was on Armour. They have it right. It's not the exact same size. It's not the bowling alley side. I'm just saying North Kansas City in general is not Denny's friendly. Damn it.
They've gotten rid of plenty of Denny's up there.
Yeah, that's right. All right, I've got about less than a minute here, so give me something good to wrap up a Friday, Halloween.
Okay, this is something upbeat. Again, you look at social media, there's all this scary stuff. So, like, your kids are scared of, chaperone incarnate zombies. Adults are scared of the impending SNAP food riots that we're all seeing on social media. And we're like, oh, this is going to be horrible. They're going to be looting the stores. Democrats are like, see, we told you. He's going to starve us all. Okay, and Republicans are like, well, I'm glad I have bullets. The reality is that Kansas City is full of very, very, very nice people. There is no food crisis. People are not going to go hungry, and this town is filled with tons of people who are just ready, just putting on their gloves and doing tons of volunteer work, tons of places where people, if they need food, if their SNAP does get cut off, there is no shortage. Like right now, there's no shortage of people all through the metro willing to help and pitch in.
Tony Botello, Tony's Kansas City, in studio. Good job, my man. You go off to a Denny's after this?
Maybe. I don't know. We've been talking about it.
All right. The Grand Slam sounds pretty good. See you, brother.
Thanks, Pete.
Caller of the day on a Friday. We'll wrap up the show with Keatsman. Coming up next on KCMO 95.7 FM.
On Friday's very spooky Guy Benson show, Steve Moore reviews the president's trip to Asia, and Josh Kraushaar breaks down next week's major elections coming up at 2 o'clock on KCMO.
What do? Do you go nuclear or not? I woke up to the news at 4 a.m. I was like, no! Kate's like, why are you waking me up at 4 o'clock? Why? Oh, sorry. My bad. I woke up to the president posting on Truth Social late last night that he wants Senate Republicans to go nuclear. He wants to end the filibuster. He wants to get to 51 votes to reopen the government. If you're going to do it, which I'm not a fan of, you do it for something huge, not a continuing resolution. And then secondarily, you have to be very careful what you wish for on this stuff. I believe they have the Dems on the ropes right now. I believe they got them right where they should have them and should want them. You got the airline CEOs saying, end the nonsense. You've got Teamsters President Sean O'Brien yesterday at the White House saying, end the nonsense. You have J.D. Vance putting on a great show yesterday saying, end the nonsense.
Now, here is our very simple proposal to the Democrats. Let's sit down and come to a compromise and work it out. And you know what the Democrats' response to that is? Give us everything we want, or we're going to shut down the government and keep it shut down. That is not reasonable behavior. That's not how you do compromise in this town. That is the way that the Democrats have operated. They are trying to take a hostage, and we can't reward that behavior. If we do that, if we say, yes, of course, we'll give you everything that you want if you reopen the government, you know what's going to happen? In 3 months, they're going to come back to the administration, and they're again going to say, we're going to shut down the aviation industry. We're going to deny people SNAP benefits unless you give us exactly what you want. That's how a child behaves. That is not how a responsible governing party behaves in the United States of America. And let me make one final point, and then we'll cut out of this press conference. Look, I've been a little bit unfair, and I want to correct this, because when I say the Democrats have shut down the government, it's actually the far left side of the Democratic Party.
That was the Vice President, J.D. Vance, yesterday. That's it. I mean, you got people that are in charge of air traffic controllers, everyone else saying, vote for this thing. They got them. People stop getting their SNAP benefits this weekend. It's going to get ugly. And unless they want turmoil and unless they want protests in the streets, which is maybe what they want, maybe this is part of the plan, I don't know. I still don't believe it cuts in their favor. We were just talking about this guy with Tony Botello of Tony's Kansas City. But, you know, their talking points don't work anymore. They don't. Yesterday, I had to point this out to a Jackson County legislator, Manny Abarca, when he posted something absurd on social media, and I had no choice, all right? I had to call him out on it. He posted something like, Republicans have all the power, and they're not doing anything about reopening the government. If you got half a brain, if you paid any attention to this story, you know they can't do it without Democrats. They can't reopen the government. And the same people basically trying to get Trump to do this, to nuke the filibuster, are the very same ones who are going to scream about a king if he does it. The same people who are trying to, I believe, get Trump to nuke the filibuster will be the first ones to scream about a king if it does end up going that way. Do not fall for their trap. Because when I posted that yesterday, some of the trolls on the other side actually posted this in response to me. They said, well, they could get rid of the filibuster so they could reopen the government. That's what they want. Because then they can use their king card. And one day, they can really go nuclear on some of their wacko crazy policies. Let's get to our caller of the day.
Hello? It's the Mundo in the Morning Caller of the Day on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
Stephen Overbrook. Go ahead, Steve.
Hey, I'll be quick, man. Okay, so if they can do away with the filibuster, make it just a 51 vote majority, why don't we just do away with the filibuster and the Republicans and conservatives, and they push their entire agenda through, and then right before it's time for maybe the other party to take power, just reinstate the filibuster. Because it'll only take a simple majority to do it.
Yeah.
I just fixed the whole damn government.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, but then Democrats get power, and they'll blow up the filibuster, and then around we go. Oh, that's actually pretty brilliant from Steve. You want to talk about 3D chess? That's Steven Overbrook right there, my man. Nice job. He's our caller of the day. Once again, not realistic, but actually a hilarious response to this whole thing, John.
Or is it?
Well, yeah, exactly right. And don't scare us on Halloween there, John Anthony, but that is great stuff.
Now, to your point, I think the Dems' position is fading, and through the weekend it's going to look real weak. It'd be really nice to have shows put up who voted to open the government and clearly state who voted against opening the government.
I'd like
to see the roll call.
I look forward, to your point, to seeing local media point out that Sharice Davids, who was doing this whole, we must reopen the government, acknowledge that she actually did not vote to open the government, or she did not vote to keep the government open when the House voted on this back on September 19th. The House passed it without Sharice Davids' support because they just need a simple majority. But I'm not going to hold my breath on that because you know and I know that's not happening here.
We need you here Monday.
If everything goes okay trick-or-treating-wise tonight, I should be here on Monday. All right? That's my plan. And if things go okay in the Chiefs-Bills game on Sunday, I'll be here on Monday. If they don't go okay, then we'll be in some trouble. We'll just have to see how it plays out. We'll wrap it up as we do each and every Friday with Kevin Keatsman, uncanceled, of course, taking over at 10 o'clock on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM. We're streaming all morning long on the iHeart and TuneIn apps, or just tell your Alexa or tell your Google Home to play KCMO Talk Radio. But before I get to that, I do want to note, this was sent to me by a couple of folks in Johnson County politics. Get out and vote in these local elections coming up next week. Early voting is looking very good for Democrats in Johnson County. Like, really good. Better than the last time we had this cycle 4 years ago. Early voting open today until 7 p.m. and then again 8 a.m. to noon on Monday in select locations. So look up your polling location, figure out what you got to do with some of your city council members and reps and, not state reps or house reps, but you've got city councils, you've got mayors, you've got school board races. These things matter. And Democrats have turned out huge in Johnson County so far over the first week and a half. They are looking to clean up. And you know what? It's going to be very hard to sit here and complain about it if you don't get out there and vote in these local elections, which most people do not do. But don't think that Trump can save Johnson County, okay? He's got nothing to do with any of this stuff here. If you're upset with your property taxes, if you're upset with your school boards, if you're frustrated with apartments going up in every street corner in your community, well, this is literally the election to do something about it. This is it right here. And the Democrats have their machine, and it's working well. And instead of complaining about that, get out there and vote. 7 p.m. tonight is when early voting ends today. You'll have one more chance coming up on Monday, and then Election Day is coming up on Tuesday. Get out there, get after it, and we'll have Keatsman to wrap up the show coming up next. Sorry.
from Leawood to Liberty. You're listening to Mundo in the Morning on 95.7 FM, KCMO Talk Radio.
The scariest man on Halloween in Kansas City media, Kevin Katesman, is here. What's up, man?
I'm really excited about Halloween. I've worn the same T-shirt for 20 years now. It's orange. I answer the door. It says, "This is my Halloween costume." That's it. I think I got it at Walmart for like $4.99 20 years ago.
I had that shirt too.
Oh, did you? All right.
The kids look at you and shake their head. I'm like, sorry, it's all you're getting.
Do you get a good crowd?
We do get a good crowd, yeah.
You do?
We get a lot, yeah.
What do you give out?
All the good stuff, but not the big bars.
Okay.
Too many kids for the big bars. We get the Snickers, the M&M peanut, all the good candy bars.
Okay. We'll be out with the kids, obviously, later today. But then the most fun I have, at least with my oldest, is she enjoys giving out the candy to the big kids late at night. So we'll sit there on the front step, and she loves giving out the candy to the big kids when they come up to the house. This is probably 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, and she's on cloud nine doing that.
Yeah.
She loves it, man.
Yeah. So do you guys have like adults in your neighborhood that pull the little red wagon with the 6-pack in it? Or
Oh, yeah.
Got some of that going on?
There'll be plenty of that
Pretty
going
good.
on.
Look at John Anthony. Yeah.
Yeah, there'll be one or two of those.
Fight.
He was doing the fight.
He was doing the Trump fight. He was. We'll be doing that. It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
I've been at it long enough. They've now progressed to golf carts.
Oh.
They've given up the buggy. They're not pulling the wagons. Let's get on the buggy. Let's go.
I have seen some of that the last couple of years. You get the people in the neighborhood who have their golf cart rolling around.
Yeah.
That gets a little hairy, though, with the kids,
It does, but they've got lights and flashlights, and generally there's some other parents pulling wagons around, and it's like this big parade around a golf cart, which is actually pretty good in case cars come through because the golf cart's really lit up. So I'm okay with the golf carts.
Yesterday we were carving pumpkins with the girls, and I came to this conclusion that I should have come to a long time ago. But one of the great things about being a parent is you get to basically relive your own childhood and do the things that you like doing with them, and you have an excuse to do it. So it's great.
Do you dress up?
Yesterday or today?
Today.
Oh, yeah, I'll be a cowboy today. They're going to be cowgirls.
And you'll walk with them as the cowboy.
Yes.
Cowboys and cowgirls. I love it.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Yeah. I tried to get Wizard of Oz, but because we've got all the parts and we got the dog who looks like Toto. But they wanted cowboys and cowgirls. So.
John, you'll appreciate this. I have not done a Halloween costume since college when me and my buddy Cato went as Doug and Bob McKenzie. Does anybody listening remember who Doug and Bob McKenzie were? Take off, you hoser.
Yeah, you hosers.
Yeah, that means nothing to
me.
Nothing.
People are out there Googling right now, Doug and Bob.
Mark, does that mean anything to you? Just be honest.
No, not to me.
All right.
That's all right.
All right. Well, you guys know.
Yeah. They were Canadian comedians, right?
Yeah, SCTV.
Yeah, they wore their toques. They have a Christmas song you hear every year. That's a funny one.
12 Days of Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll know their Christmas song.
I will.
If you hear it. It's a comedy song.
Got it. All right.
Doug and Bob. Take off, you hoser.
Yep. Got your toque on, eh?
Got my toque on.
Don't get John going down memory lane now. It's going to get hairy.
I can do side one if you want.
There you go.
You got YouTube TV?
I do, but it's not mine. It's stolen.
Okay. Well,
I just have it on one TV downstairs for the NFL package we had the last couple of years, but we don't really need it now.
So you won't need it for college football tomorrow if this YouTube TV ESPN standoff continues.
Total backup plan for me with my buddy's password.
Ah, okay. Well, I know that tomorrow K-State plays Tech. That's a Fox game. I don't know about KU or Mizzou, but I know I'm okay at least with K-State, Tech, and then, of course, we'll be okay with the Chiefs on Sunday. But I'm getting nervous because ABC's got a lot of the top college football games.
They definitely do. KU's on ESPN Plus, I believe, which is where all this stuff's going. I don't know. I don't have Peacock. I have access to Peacock, but I haven't signed up. I have Spectrum, and so they offer it free with the package that I have. I got to clean my stuff up. Like several of my streaming services now are included with my Spectrum. I just have to do it through Spectrum. It becomes a channel on my cable.
Yes.
I think that's where it's at. I think cable actually is cheaper now than streaming all this stuff.
I agree.
It's become cheaper.
Well, I got YouTube TV when I got here 8 years ago. It was $39.99.
Yeah.
I was like, this is too good to be true. And now it's more than doubled. And now once they come to this deal with ESPN, they're going to say, well, we got to charge you another $10 a month. That's how it's going to go.
There's going to be Big 12 basketball and KU games all over Peacock.
Yeah.
We all have to get on Peacock if you want to watch KU basketball.
And they're doing some TNT stuff, too, I believe, with the Big 12.
Yeah.
Wow. God, and I don't have Peacock, so got to get on it.
Got to get on it.
Jeez.
Free trial. Watch the important game and skip the other ones.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
7-day trial.
You get juiced for college basketball? I know, like, my Villanova Wildcats are playing BYU on Monday. I couldn't believe it was happening already.
I don't get juiced until the conference season, like January, when football starts to get over. I think watching the rivalry games is fun. You know, if KU's playing Iowa State, KU, K-State, all that, I don't know who Missouri's rival is anymore, but they're going to play KU here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
They're playing them here. That's fun, but it's still not the same as a conference game. And it's, you know, when it's non-conference, it does not juice me that much.
I'm with you there. Go ahead, Mark.
Oh, the first 24-hour day I enjoy. Where you got basketball 24 hours.
Yeah, they started that, several years ago, right?
Yeah.
I remember doing a sports update at CBS Sports Network, an overnight shift, when that was going on. I'm like, this is crazy. I got to update the New Mexico State game at 2 a.m. I'm like, what the heck's going on here? For degenerates like Mark who are out there betting the game, you know?
Minus 6.5.
Yeah, New Mexico State minus 6.5 over Cal Poly on a Tuesday at 3 a.m. Mark's got a 7-way parlay on the game. It's like, jeez.
Got people stand in line. You don't think UMKC would play at 3 in the morning?
Oh, yeah.
They
You're
would.
right.
They
They would. To get on ESPN
Sure.
or something, they would do it.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it. God bless Denny Matthews. He's getting
Unbelievable.
married, 83 years old for the first time. Royals play-by-play man.
This was really a surprise to me, and Denny was an idol of mine growing up. I used to sit in the bleacher seats with my binoculars and stare into the press box and dream of having the job of Denny Matthews as a kid, and got to know him later and have him on the show many times. And he's just a wonderful baseball man. He's in the Baseball Hall of Fame. He is an icon in Kansas City. That's probably not because he's so private and quiet, and he's probably not as appreciated here as he should be.
Mm-hmm.
But he would, Denny's just been a bachelor. We know what he is. Look, I'm just going to say it. The rumors were always like, Denny's got a girl in every city. That was the thing. It's like, he's getting on the plane. He's got a girl in Dallas. He's got one in Chicago. Like, that's what everybody said. I don't know that it's true. I'm just telling you, Denny, if you're listening, that's what everybody said. He's smiling now. He probably likes this at 83, right? And so he does that. Who had any idea that he was this close to her? I guess maybe like Ryan Lefevre would know, or some people close to him. But it's an unbelievable story. He met her at in a dental chair.
Yeah.
And then brought her to a game to sit in the box. He said that was their first date, and that was 17 years ago.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Well, it's good he's settling down because I guess the girls in all the cities he was in, they're all dead at this point, so he's got to get married. I mean, it's time for Denny to settle down.
How about the wedding? It's going to be at Kauffman Stadium. They're serving ballpark food, hot dogs, nachos, the whole deal. No jackets, no ties, nothing. Where your come as you would come to a Royals game. That's what they're saying.
Oh, that's very cool.
And his groomsmen are wearing their jerseys. It's his brothers. They're going to wear jerseys with their favorite Royals player and then their name on the back, whatever their favorite number is. Same thing with the bridesmaids. Pretty
All
cool.
Right. Mark, you got an over-under? Do they see a 10-year anniversary or not?
I'll say over
nice.
just to be nice.
That's just not nice. I don't know. Oh, you're talking about the divorce rate. Okay, good. Thank you. I was thinking about something else.
He'll be 93 years old.
Thanks for bailing me out there, Kevin.
Yeah,
Nice job.
divorce rate is about 50%.
Kevin, you had a good idea from Denny that I've heard over the years. Denny's got every scorecard of the Royals games, right?
Yes.
And you were saying pick some of the classics and make a coffee table book. Wouldn't that be great?
It would be fantastic. And at some point, those are so auctionable, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have children. He's going to have a wife to leave it to, it sounds like. But other than that, I can't imagine all those scorecards.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, that is pretty amazing, man. Well, hey, I guess I won't see you at your house. I'll be trick-or-treating at my house on my side of the neighborhood. But hey, if you go see Keatsman, you going to wear that shirt? You going to wear the shirt today?
Yeah.
This
the
is my
orange one?
Halloween costume?
If I can find it, it's at the bottom of the drawer somewhere.
All
I'm going
right.
to find it. I just got to dig it out. It's there somewhere.
All right. Well, Keatsman, I know he's starting off the show with something you have not heard in all of Kansas City media in the last 24 hours. Are you going to start the show with it?
Yes, I am.
All right. It's minutes away. Have a great weekend. Happy Halloween. We're back Monday morning at 6 on 95.7 FM, KCMO.